Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Neves brings it down on the volley. Oh, you must be kidding me! Ruben Neves has just struck a sensational goal. Oh, it's heard in! It's the Anderlecht Donker who arrives. Oh, the brilliant Belgian in the right place at the right time. Calls it all. That's unbelievable. Jean Martinho has whipped it into the far top corner. Can you believe this?
A very good evening and welcome to Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra. Tonight's home of football is Goodison Park, resplendent in sunshine out there on the pitch, rather dark where we are right at the back of the stand. I'm Mikey Burrows. Alongside me, kind of just down the front, you can see me waving behind his camera there, is the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson, and as ever joining us from home is the former Wolves striker Chris Awolamo, and a man who needs no introduction really, but we will give him one anyway. 207 Wolves appearances, 71 clean sheets, an international standard goalkeeper for Nigeria and an international standard bloke as well. It's Carl Ikemi is here with us too. Brilliant to have you all with us. Gentlemen, we are nearly done and dusted for the season. Keems, I'm coming to you first, I guess, just for a little bit of reaction to the Spurs game. It felt like one of those, Keems, where Wolves didn't necessarily play too badly. They just didn't really take their chances. And if they don't do that, they don't give themselves a chance in those games.
Yeah, I think that probably sums up right. We wasn't terrible. I thought we were pretty good in parts of the game, but I think it's probably a little bit of how the season's gone in a way and not been clinical enough, whether that's creating or finishing the chances that we do get. And we've also not probably kept enough clean sheets, conceding first a lot, and we're always chasing the game. So while Tottenham are a very good side, I think maybe we should have been looking at it as an opportunity, because they have got good players, but they're not in a good moment right now. So the results, it's never terrible losing to Tottenham, but I suppose after the memories of playing Tottenham away over the past couple of seasons, we almost kind of expect to give them a better go, and unfortunately we didn't do that.
James, give us a kind of bit of insight of what the mindset of a young player is at these final games. You know, you've got Fabio Silva, Morgan Gibbs-White, who he was probably one of the more positive performances against Tottenham. But where are they? You know, because this is a real opportunity for them, isn't it, to put their case to Nuno to say, you know what, I'm ready to fill this spot. I want this shot. There is going to be investment, no matter how you want to look at it. There's going to be investment in the summer. How big an opportunity is this for the young players to say, you know what, right, okay, I'm ready to take this mantle on?
I think we've been saying it for weeks, haven't we, really, that there's still a lot to play for. I think Morgan maybe has grabbed it and maybe has kind of done what we've been calling out for him to do for since he's come back from Swansea. So maybe he's the positive to take in that. Have the others, I think Hoover's showed a lot of promise.
Well, Vitinha as well. That he was poor. He was probably poor against Tottenham, but the games previous to that, I thought he was outstanding. By the way,
yeah, and I think he's young, so there's going to be inconsistencies at times, and we can kind of forgive that. But you wanted to see some good right back play, some attacking right back play, and some good defending, and I think he'd done that in the previous game. So I think there's always going to be games where he is a bit inconsistent. But I think we talk about the young lads. I think it's some of the senior lads that probably need to prove a little bit more than the younger lads as well.
Yeah.
I think we talk about investment in the summer. I think it's easier to keep a young lad because you might be able to see the promise and maybe the growth. And I think maybe Morgan, Fabio, who we've seen highlights of him throughout the season and seen him improve. Hoover, possibly. But there's others maybe that haven't ticked that box necessarily and haven't cemented their place, along with some of the senior players who maybe there's question marks whether there's going to be investment in them areas.
Tom, what I've got to say to you, Tom, you know the likes of Dendoncker, you know about versatility where he can play. Shouldn't he say, you know what, I'm a holding midfielder? I know the modern footballer, they can play in so many different positions, but we're sitting looking for players and say, look, we want these players in that position. It's great to be able to play here, there, and everywhere, but it's so important as well for an individual to say, this is where I want to play. You know, you played fullback, you played in midfield, you played all over. You were a good footballer, but you have to nail down that one position, don't you?
Hold on a minute. Hang on, let's not go
forget
too
about
far.
it, Mikey. Forget about it, Mikey.
Let's not, he was all right. But might be taking it a step too far.
I agree with you. So, look, I think that if you start floating in and out of positions, more so, I think it's more relevant now. I think that people have got to be more established in one position because of the way that the Premier League is and the pace of the game and the experience that you need to have in certain positions now. I think that you need to say, look, I'll play this position. I mean, it's great to play a variety of positions. Donker's done it, as we've said.
Yeah.
But I just think that you've got to start to pick a certain position now to say, look, this is where I want to play. This is where I need to play. And because I think it's just be fair to them. So I think with the pace that the Premier League is in, you can't afford to switch off. And I think if you're playing one position, you start to master it a little bit more and you start to become a bit more experienced in that position. If you start floating around, I think that sometimes your mind can wander a little bit, depending on where you are. So, I think it's important, especially at this top flight football and international football, that you play in one position, what you know. It is great to have that under your belt, but I just think that with the way that things are and the way that the game's going, I think that you've got to do that, really.
Well, let's talk about the team news, boys, because it is rather interesting today. A number of things to go through. There are 5 changes from the side that started against Spurs on Sunday. Out goes Patricio, Hoover, Saiz, Dendoncker, Vitinha. In comes John Ruddy for his first Premier League appearance of the season. Ryan Aït-Nouri, Max Kilman, Willy Boly and Ruben Neves, which means, Carl Ikemi, your favourite topic, is that Wolves are going back to a back 5 tonight. Thoughts on that? And I guess, first of all, thoughts on John Ruddy coming in?
I think the formation, I'm not too sure if it's an end of the season thing or it's a more reaction to last week. I'm not too sure. I don't know if he's trying to switch it up. The fact of John coming in as well, it's a bit unknown. I think Rui's been indifferent maybe in the second half of the season. Is this because of the second goal of Tottenham? I'm not too sure. I can't really look too much in that. But at the same time, is it a massive shot that John's playing? No. So I think it's. I'm glad that he's getting an opportunity to play. I don't know how much to read into it either way, but I think that no one's going to be second guessing John or thinking that we're weak there in any way. And it's good to see him get a game.
I think with John Ruddy, you know what you're going to get. But what we've got to remember, the last game, Aït-Nouri not being involved, Kilman, we were talking about it, Mikey, weren't we? Like, maybe a little bit harsh. So fair enough, they come straight back in because the performance previously were good. I think the last game was crying out for Neves. I'm surprised he never came on earlier. You know, I know he came on for Morgan Gibbs-White, but again, he just brings something different. And again, he's got to nail down what he's going to be doing, if it's a holding midfielder or hitting the edge of the box and getting in the boxes as often as he has this second part of the season. So no surprise that there's been changes because I thought it was a poor performance. You're talking about chances created, but still, Tottenham were comfortable in that game. We never really troubled them.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of possession near the Tottenham, and I don't think that we put any real pressure on them. I think it was too comfortable for them to be passing the ball around. Like they say, they hit the woodwork 3 times. I know we created some chances, but it just looked like Tottenham were in control of the game. And I was disappointed in a way because I thought that we'd go there because of the way that we played against Tottenham in the previous few years, that we'd give them a real good game. And I was a little bit disappointed with the way that we played. So, I thought we would be a little bit more aggressive, but unfortunately we weren't.
I think there's an element, though, isn't there, where look, this formation that we're going to play tonight, effectively, it's Ruddy in goal, Bolly, Cody, Kilman back three. We know that. We know how solid it is. Semedo and Aït-Nouri as wing backs. I think there's been a general discussion as to perhaps, Looms, that it kind of suits them a little bit more to be wing backs rather than out and out full backs. The big question mark to this formation for me tonight is Morgan Gibbs-White, because it's almost like the last two performances he's had, he has been so effective as an orthodox number 10.
Yeah.
I know he started wide, but when he's moved into that central area, he's influenced the game, for me at least. So in this setup, I mean, it might be that they can push Traore further forwards, but are you worried about getting the most out of Morgan if he has to be slightly wide again tonight?
No, I think the principles are similar. You've got to remember, Keane's called this at the start of the season about Morgan Gibbs-White being able to be that number 10, probably one of his stronger positions in there in that role. I just feel that with this formation, if Semedo's bombing forward, we have that relationship. It's a positive for him, but he can float inside. He's an intelligent footballer. Go where the space is. You know, you've got the likes of Matinho and Neves just in behind. So if he's getting in those little pockets, he'll be receiving the ball. Connor Cody's going to be having a lot more time in the ball, and with his range of passing as well. You know, so we know that he's a good technical footballer, but he's just got to find those little pockets, and he'll cause Everton all sorts of problem, because who marks him? You know, at times he'll be dragging the full back in, he'll be staying wide. When he comes in central, he'll be passed on to either the holding midfielder or the centre back will have to come. And if he don't, then he's going to receive the ball, and he can do a lot of damage. We know he's got the potential. We know he's got that quality, the potential, but he's got to be more consistent, and he has been. He's starting to get there, so I'm glad that he's getting that time on the pitch. But this is an opportunity to show Nuno that he can play in that formation. It doesn't need to just be a 4-4-2, but in the 3-5-2-1 as well. That's exactly what we want to see from him. So can he affect it? I think he can, but he has to just be intelligent. I want a big performance from him tonight.
I think also as well, it's the fact that he's not going to be a winger. Is in the sense of Traore. He's not a tricky player in the sense of potence. I think he's an attacking midfielder, and it's how he uses that. I think it's up to him in part of his progression in his game to show us what he can do there. And I'm not comparing him to Lampard, but he needs to be that sort of player who's a midfielder who can break the box and get goals too, and influence the game higher up the pitch. And so I expect more of that, a performance of him getting around the box, getting in the box and trying to influence things. He's not Traore or he's not Podence. He doesn't need to try and beat them. He just needs to be Morgan Gibbs-White and try and be attacking and have an influence on the game, because you know he'll work back for you as well. But you don't want him stuck out wide where he's trying to do tricks where it's not really his game as well. So I think it's just part of his progression. And I hope he makes an influence again tonight, because he has made an influence the past few weeks.
Yeah, I think with Fabio Silva as well, because he wants to come to feet quite a lot of the time. Morgan Gibbs-White, it's that space in behind as well. He might have to stretch the pitch for us sometimes. So it's just that football intelligence, and he's got it. You know, he is a good player.
Tomo is still with us, by the way. It's just he's having some Wi-Fi issues down in front of me, and I can see him getting angrier and angrier with his laptop, which is why I've been trying not to laugh. There he is. He's back. He might disappear again, and I might laugh, but if I do, that's the reason why. Because he was so happy earlier, boys, because they've got Bovril here. And so he's been delighted because he's been drinking Bovril for a bit.
Yeah, the little things won't make you happy. So there we go.
And now he's getting angry again.
No.
Anyway, we talk about young players and young players getting opportunities. Let's talk to a man who knows all about some of the players who will potentially maybe have a chance of featuring on Sunday, but certainly towards next season and beyond. Joining us on Matchday Live Extra tonight is Wolves under-23s coach, and handily he's put his Wolves top on for the occasion as well. Just like Andy Thompson, a man who's got a suspiciously good tan despite being all the way through the winter. James Collins, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, thanks. It's a face tan, that's all it is.
Same here.
He knows I do this to him every single time I see him. first and foremost, my friend, obviously I saw you on Monday night. Commiserations again for the defeat at Palace in the playoff semi-final. But now you've had a couple of days to reflect on it. How do you look back on it?
I think you're always disappointed when you lose semi-finals. You won't be in the business if we weren't. But I think overall we look at the season with pride. We finished fourth with a young group. There was a decision made at the start of the season or the end of last season that we would challenge our players up age groups. That's throughout the academy, which then can affect results sometimes because obviously you're playing younger players in older age groups. But we felt it was this, or the club felt it was decided that that would be best for developing the players. So we thought it'd be a tough season. So to finish fourth with this group, a young group, we were really pleased.
You also, Theo Corbeanu, who made his debut for the first team on Sunday, scored 2 wonderful goals for you on Monday, and then ended up going off injured. Otherwise, he might have had a chance of being involved again in these two, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think Theo had a hectic few days. Not just he only went on for a few minutes for the first team, but to make your Premier League debut, the excitement and adrenaline that comes with that, to then go straight to our hotel and all the lads, were excited around him because everyone was delighted for him. He's then got everyone ringing him and texts and all that overnight. So I think he probably didn't get much sleep going into our game. And I actually thought he started our game quite slowly, a bit sluggish. But I thought second half he scored 2 brilliant goals, which shows his quality. And then he just, like a lot of them, he ran out of steam. I think the cramps set in. And I think once that happens, it's hard to stop.
James, how important is it that the young players are getting that opportunity? In the group of young lads, they see one of their own getting that chance with the first team. That must be massive for them.
Yeah, it's brilliant. We were just getting on the bus when the first team game was on, and a lot of the boys have been subbed this season at different times and not made that final jump onto the pitch. So when we heard Theo was coming on, the buzz on the bus was real excitement. People cramming around Sky Go, etc., to try and get a glimpse of it. So yeah, I think the big thing is opportunity with young players. You want to see young players get opportunities. Our gaffer's been brilliant with surrounding them in their group. He's been brilliant with guiding them and mentoring them. They train regularly with them. They're in the squad regularly, learning a lot. But you ultimately want to see them get that final, over that final hurdle, and to see Theo on the pitch was a real plus for everyone.
Does that give? I don't know. It's a tough job to get them in the first, and we all know that. But does that make it a little bit easier to make them believe that it's possible for them to get there as long as they keep progressing and keep trying to work hard for you? Yeah,
I think so. I think it's as you know, it's so tough to get into a top Premier League team now. You've got to be one of the best 1 or 2% players in the world. Never mind young players. But when you're trying to replace Martinho's and Neves's, and when you're a young player, that's tough. That's a really tough thing to do. I think training with them every day helps, and often they train with them, so it gives you some confidence that you can match them. But ultimately, I think seeing the gaffer trust them and put them on the pitch is what will give them the most confidence. And I think that Theo is a player that is exciting going forward, but can be loose with his defending at times. I think the gaffer's done a lot of work with him on being disciplined, being trustworthy, which he's bought into. And I think it was a real nice moment for him to finally get trusted to get on that pitch, because that's what it's all about. You need to be trusted as a young player.
I was going to say, James, I know we've seen these youngsters coming in and they've been on the bench quite a few times. Who else can we look forward to seeing in the future, do you think, who you're working with?
We've got an exciting group. As you just said, it's getting over that Premier League hurdle. Sometimes they might have to go on loan somewhere to get back. You talk about likes Harry Kane, who did that, had a few loans before he ended up getting in Tottenham's team. We've got Luke Cundle, who's had an excellent season this season. Owen Eskif's broke through from the under-18s group, sort of out of nowhere with us, and been excellent this season. And then Nigel Londrick, Christian Marquez. We've got, I've probably missed a few out there, but we've got an exciting group. But the big thing is they won't all come through. They're at a really important stage of their development, and that next step is probably the biggest jump. And some can handle that mentally, and some can't. And I think in the end, that's what it boils down to. That final jump, playing week in, week out in the Premier League is a tough ask. If you watched our game the other night, players were dropping with cramp after 70 minutes, and just the whole adrenaline under the lights, bit of a crowd. You've got to be able to handle that side of it. It's not just about your technical ability, which coming through the academy, that's what it's about. And then that final hurdle is the mentality side, I think.
James, that's a really interesting point. Sorry, Looms, we'll come to you in a second, because we had John Hartson on a while back. Looms might be able to remember it, and we almost asked him like when he felt he was a proper footballer, when he'd fully developed into it. And I think he talked about kind of being in his mid-20s, really, at least. I mean, you've been involved in under 23s development football for a long time. You talk about that physicality as well as mentally preparing. When does a player become fully fledged men's first team player almost?
I think that's a great point. I look at myself. I played 24 games, I think, in Crew's first team in the Championship. And at the time, I thought I was a player. I thought I've made it. I've made appearances. I look back now and think I never really was a player. I had a bit part. I played bits and bobs. So I think, I'm not sure what the figure is, but it certainly isn't 1, 2, 5, 10 appearances. I think you've got to get over 50, I think, to really start to feel like you've cracked it. And even then, it's such a tough environment, playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, or whichever the way the games are now, recovering from games and going again in the next game. I think it's such a lot tougher than what probably people think to get over that final hurdle and churn game out after game out.
James, does that remit change for you for next season? Because Nuno's saying that he's probably going to be working with a bigger squad. So what does that mean for you with the 23s then?
We work very closely in the fact that on a daily basis, I'm in communication with Rui, who lets me know which players he'll require each day and on which players he'll work with that day. We then work with the others, if you like, the rest. Some days we end up with 18, 19. Some days we'll have 10 or 12. And when we have less, we can do individual work. When we have more, we can do more team-based work. I think the gaffer likes working with young players, likes developing young players. I've seen him around the young players, and it excites him. It excites him improving them. Excites him seeing them improve. And I think that I think he'll always find room in his squad for young players. As I say, the challenge for our young players is he can't just throw them in willy-nilly. He has to put them in when he trusts them and he thinks they're ready. And I think this group of players now I've got are trying to build that trust with him, and time will tell.
James, just sorry to go back to the point before, is that how difficult is it? You talk about trust, and when you thought you was a player, how difficult is it? Because all the young lads their dreams will be about playing for Wolves and beyond. But how difficult is it to convince that if that doesn't happen, they still can have a great career in a game and possibly come back?
Yeah, managing expectations is probably the most difficult part of the job. Most people, when they get to under 23 level, have been on a progressive rise right through their academy journey to get to that level. Not had many, if you like, bumps in the road, setbacks, whatever you want to call it. So then to suddenly realise that you might not initially make it at the level you want to make it at can be a real setback for them. But we've had there's lots of evidence along the way that players can go to different clubs at different levels and build a career that way, and sometimes get back past the level that they're at currently. So I think there's a lot of evidence that we have a lot of staff around the building, player care staff, players who look after the players from a holistic point of view, which is a big help to me. Gone are the days it's just the coach, and there's a lot of staff now. But I think that helps them when it comes to the next step in their journey, because sometimes it is lower than what they think it'll be. But sometimes you need to do that to prove your worth, if you like. What's
the plan now, my friend? Well-earned break?
We'll be in till the weekend, because obviously the first team we're in, so we mirror the first team's programme. And then I'm going to have a bit of a rest for a couple of weeks. And then we're planning for... Scott won't allow me to rest. We'll be planning for next season, looking at the squads, looking at the players and the individual plans for the players. It's a good job. We love what we do.
I genuinely enjoyed travelling up and down the country with you and watching some brilliant performances. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, my friend. Enjoy that rest.
No problem. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the
Take it
game.
easy, James.
Take care, James.
James,
Cheers.
James Collins, Wolves under-23s head coach. Really unfortunate that they didn't get the result that they wanted on Monday night in the Premier League 2 playoff semi-final. But still, for a young group, they're the second youngest average age in the division, and to finish fourth and take a good Crystal Palace team all the way through extra time as well shows an awful lot about the development and the way things are going. And who knows, we might see some of those names at the weekend if they are all around. It'll be very interesting indeed. We're going to talk about potential attacking changes and things as we've done our reviews in just a moment. But I just want to come to a point, I guess, about tonight, boys. And Looms, Everton are having their worst ever home season, which is remarkable, really, given where they are in the league. They lost to Sheffield United on Sunday. So are we up against it tonight? Are they going to, the fans are in for the first time. They've got to come and give a result and a performance, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It's their away record is unbelievable on the back of that, to be fair. But, the fans coming in will hopefully they'll be hoping that it'll get a reaction from them. But I think it can work in Wolves' favour as well. But, they're a good team. They've got good players. We've got to nullify the threat. We can't, and I think Tom will says it every single game, we can't concede first, because it's something that when they do score first, they manage the game, they see it out, they know how to go over the line, they make it very difficult. So I just feel that we have to get out the blocks very, very quick tonight. Don't show any respect. They've got quality all through in all positions. They like to play through the thirds. So I just feel we get in their faces, show no respect, and when we get the ball in that transition, we've got to use the ball well. We've got to keep possession. We've got to get those little passes in. I think sometimes there's been too many games this season, and I'll use Tottenham, I'll use Burnley at the Molineux, that were very passive. We cannot be like that tonight, because in the Premier League, if you're going to start like that and you're going to give the opposition time to get the ball down and be dominant and impose themselves in the match, it's always going to be difficult with the quality this league has. So you know what, it's always going to be a difficult game. The fans coming in, I think, it gives it that extra factor. I've been doing a couple of games the last couple of days, and even though it's like 4,500 fans, whatever it may be, it sounds like 20,000 fans. It honestly does. Wait till you experience this tonight, Mikey and Tom. It is unbelievable the noise they're going to make.
It's a strange thing, actually. I was just thinking, you might have caught me looking around there, because we only had Liverpool away in December, where I think there were 2,000 and they were all in the Kop. So there was a bit of noise, but it didn't feel quite like it. Whereas looking around here now, it's, everybody's spread all the way round. There are even fans in the stand that we're in opposite either side of the press area and stuff, which has obviously been expanded. We're not normally back here. Normally I'd be, Tomo underneath my armpit in the press box down in front of us than the distance we are now.
I'm glad to sorted that out anyway.
Yeah. But I do wonder, Keames, whether having a crowd in might help Wolves a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Go on, Tomo. You can answer as well.
I was just about to say, look, I think that it might put a little bit of pressure on them, because I know that the Everton fans can be critical of their side, and especially with the home form that they've had coming into this game, that they've struggled to get victories here. And I don't think they're going to be the most patient. I know they're the fans who are lucky to be in the last game of the season for them, but they are expecting their team to win, and I think there's a lot on their shoulders tonight. But Loom just touched on it, what I say. We can't afford to concede first. That's going to be the big point, because you want to try and, even though as many as there normally is, you want to try and get that crowd on their backs a little bit to see the nerves. And they say it's been a while, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I think initially, obviously, they're going to be buzzing to be back, ain't they? So yeah. I don't think they're going to maybe be a Goodison crowd at the past that
It changes quickly. If we score tonight, I was doing the game the other day, and I tell you, when Swansea scored against Barnsley, I'll tell you what, couple little boos, couple passes. It changes very quickly, mate. So it's down to us to get that first goal, and then just get a few challenges in and get those fans. The fans are fickle everywhere you go.
I think what it is though, what I think it might bring to Wolves is a bit of more edge. Where we've not had an edge at times, and we've been, as Looms said before, we've been very passive in some games. So it might just give us that edge, especially at the start of the game, because we don't need to talk about our first halves. They've been poor for a lot of the season. So hopefully the fans coming back will give us an edge. Obviously, they're going to be buzzing to see Everton to start off with, but equally our players will be buzzing that the Everton fans are back as well, because we've all missed the fans and we all need them back, because the edge hasn't been on many games this season. It's been difficult. It's been difficult for everyone. Yeah. And I think just the fans being back, a little bit of noise, a little bit of booze, a few choice names being called from the stands. I think all the players will welcome that coming back.
It's quite hard for us to actually talk about it because we walk out and the stadiums are full. That intensity's there. It's easy to get up for it. But going out when it's empty, the players have got to create that themselves. So for the players themselves, just walking out, when you walk out the tunnel and you think, and you hear the sound, the atmosphere.
There's been so many times.
I think both players will be right up for it.
There's been so many times where I've not felt my best before a game, and in the warm up. Coming up, doesn't mean that I'm not up for a game. There's just something missing at times, and then as soon as you walk out of that tunnel and hear the fans, it's just like a light switch goes off, and then you just focus again. So I'm buzzing to have the fans back, and I hope it gives Wolves a bit of edge that they need, in all honesty, as well.
Right, let's get our next guest on tonight. We want to talk a little bit about the forward areas and what might happen in the summer. Joining us to discuss that and more, the former Wolves wide midfielder, winger, / anywhere he wanted to play, really. Stephen Hunt is joining us on a Matchday Live Extra tonight. He will be connected up very shortly. Here he is. What an absolute guy looking.
I bet you got a few players coming in, Hunt, here. I bet you've had that chat already. Been on the phone, mate, or what? What's going on?
Aye. George's players are running out, lads. George's players are running out.
How are you, my friend? How are you doing?
I'm very well, guys. I'm very well. I'm going to a place I shouldn't go tonight. I'm heading to West Brom versus West Ham.
Well, we'll forgive you, mate. And just look after yourself, because obviously I know you've changed your look since you were playing, but you're still...
Tell you what, Hunt, I tell you, like a fine wine, yeah? You're getting better looking, mate, the older you get, pal, eh? Silver Fox, mate.
I tell you, do you know what? Right, I am getting better looking. Fact. Let's not mistake that. And the wife. I tell the wife I'm getting better looking every day. I wish. Carla, Keems, I passed them 2 houses of yours on the way down. I hope they're going to sell soon.
I hope so, mate.
Businessman.
They're up for sale, mate, and you're doing well, ain't you? So you can come and buy both.
Oh, listen, I've got the best right back in the Premier League in Sufal, so I'll be ready to go soon. Don't you worry about that.
Hunty, I don't know how much you've been able to see of Wolves this season. Kind of, how do you assess where they are, really?
I tell you what, I had a conversation with somebody. If this is a team that's on the down for Wolves, or the negativity around it, Wolves are, 12th, 13th in the league, and people are saying that we've come a long way, like, and I really that the team is rebuilding. I've seen them play. I was at the game a couple of weeks ago. I think they're in a good place with some young players coming through and a bit of adaptation. I think the manager's been brilliant. He's not made excuses for bad performances. Just got on with it, and being Nuno the way he is, he's just been that level all the time.
Huntley, what do you think about the formations changed so many times throughout the season? They've went away from playing that 3 at the back, the 5 at the back but now the 4-4-2 has come in quite a few times this year. What's your thoughts on that?
I think he might have frozen just for a moment. Yeah. Oh, there
My signal is a bit iffy, but I get the gist in terms of the change of formation. Sorry, Liams, I just got the start of it. I think the change of formation whatever way you look at it, was going to happen over a period of time, and it was going to take time to get used to, especially when we've been such a success for 2-3 years now. With that, I think with Conor Cody and his vocal ability to lead from the back in the back four, fine. So I think when Conor has not played, I think they've missed the leadership skills in the back four for sure.
Just go on, Keames.
Sorry, just to look forward, and obviously I know you're heavily involved in the game still, and you're talking about the young players. And while I agree with you in a sense, I don't think it's been a bad season. I think it's been a season of progression for a lot of the young players. How would you see Wolves moving forward next season?
Like everyone, I think every club will have to adapt with COVID. I think the market will determine where clubs go and what players they try and bring in. I think Wolves will look to adapt in certain positions. They might need to sell to get players in, or they might not. But I think that the team is ready to go again. Jimenez coming back will be a massive lift for everybody. I think the young striker's done quite well. I'll be honest with you. I think he's under a bit of pressure with the price tag he come under. But I don't think he's shirked any responsibility when he's not scored goals, when he's had chances, he's kept going. So I think he will come good in the future, and not to panic is key.
What do you think tonight, though, mate? I mean, it's one of those, isn't it, where Everton actually still have an outside. They need to try and get some.
I'm cutting in and out there.
I think we're going to lose.
Hello?
Stephen Hunt. Yeah, I think we've lost him. Never mind. I'll put that to the ball. Oh, Steve, are you still there, Hunty? Yeah,
I'm back. Put that again. Sorry.
Just
that again.
How Wolves approach this game tonight, really, with Everton needing to get something. What do Wolves do in this kind of instance?
They play with a free spirit to a certain degree. I think Morgan Gibbs-White against Brighton was a real bright spark in terms of how he played. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen the team sheet, but I was really impressed with him, how he went about it, and where to go. So, you got me now?
Yeah.
I'm a busy guy, lad. The phones keep ringing, lad.
I know you are, but we'll let you go, mate, because the teams are.
Sorry, guys.
Anyway. Get that deal done, mate. Get that deal done.
Hey, deals to be done, mate. Busy time of the year. Later, guys.
Thank you, pal. Look after yourself at the Hawthorns, by the way. Right. Very quickly, boys. Prediction. Keames, what are you going for tonight?
I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves. I think Everton have been poor at home. And I think maybe just the switch in formation today might help us. Even though I didn't want to go there, I am going to. But yeah, 2-1 Wolves.
Looms?
I was going to say the same as Keames, but I'll go 1-0 Wolves.
That's just because of Mikey.
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to 3-1 Wolves.
Well, I'm going to be even bolder and say 4-1 Wolves win.
Get away, mate.
What you drinking, fella? What you got there, mate? Show us your drink.
It's the end of the season. We're all going crazy. This is what it's all about. Boys, more from Carl Ikemi and Chris Owellamo in just a moment. Ted Cards is about to sound. The teams are on their way out. Don't go anywhere. Everton v Wolves is coming next.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Wolves Lottery is committed to helping Wolverhampton and the local community improve, whilst giving fans the chance to win some fantastic money can't buy prizes, excellent Wolves experiences, as well as £1,800 given away every week. For more information and to sign up online, visit wolves.co.uk/Wolves-Lottery.
The Old Gold Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions and I'd I never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those 2 games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Jodian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem, and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
All Gold Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The final away game of the campaign against an Everton side having their worst ever season at home. The Toffees have picked up just 19 points from 18 matches at Goodison and haven't won any of the last 5 here. But Nuno's side arrive on the back of a defeat at Spurs that stretched their away run to just 2 wins in 13. And the Old Gold have only won once here in the last 10 visits. Nuno's made 5 changes from the side that started at Spurs. Out goes Patricio, Hoover, Saiss, Dendoncker and Vitinha. In comes John Ruddy for his first Premier League start of the season. Ryan Aït-Nouri, Max Kilman, Willy Boly and Ruben Neves. We are just about ready to get underway with Wolves in their gold shirts, black shorts and gold socks, ready to get us started. Defending the Park End stand away to our right. The Bullens Road stand on the far side where Wolves supporters would normally be. The famous Gladys Street end away to our left. And we are high up at the back of the main stand. Andy Madley blows his whistle. And everyone takes a knee. And now the moment has arrived. Underway. And for the first time in a long time, there is no fake crowd noise. Not that we ever produced it for you. Always tried to give you the reality of what we were hearing inside these stadiums. But boy, does it feel good just to hear a little bit of noise and not just the players shouting at each other. Might take a moment, Tomo, for us to get used to hearing players shouting.
It's great. It's great to have fans back, even though they're not ours. But it is nice to hear it. As you said, rather than the fake noise, what you hear.
Here's Coleman for Calvert-Lewin. As we mentioned in the build-up, far from a full stadium, but it still just makes a hell of an amount of noise just having anybody in here. Everton lining up with Jordan Pickford in goal. Their back 3 of Ben Godfrey, Michael Keane and Yerry Mina, Seamus Coleman and Luca Dean, their wing-backs, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Allen in midfield, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, who rather enjoys playing against Wolves normally. 4 goals in his 5 appearances so far. There's Calvert-Lewin for Everton in their blue shirts, white shorts and white socks. All recycled to Allen, just trying to turn away from Gibbs White, but Traore got back there, and Traore has done very well to skip infield away from 2 challenges and drive over the halfway line, and he continues to run, and he now finds Fabio Silva on the left-hand side. Here's Aït-Nouri on the overlap. Aït-Nouri's attempted cross blocked, and Wolves get an opportunity. I think it will be a throw right down by the corner flag.
Yeah,
a good positive start that time.
It is, and it's just great to watch him when Traore's in that kind of mood. So he tracked back, won the ball back, and then he's got the experience, and he's got the skill just to go past 3 or 4 players, which is great to watch.
I think quite comes from the throw as Fabio Silva blocks it off. See, in the old stadium, which Everton won't be here too much longer. Do have these great big pillars,
and they are big pillars.
I'm not sure how much Tomo can see of the goal that Wolves are attacking first half.
I can just see it if I lean forward.
Nick on by Calvert-Lewin from the goal kick. Boly to Semedo, caught in possession by Gylfi Sigurdsson, but it will be a Wolves throw on the Wolves' right-hand side, midway inside their own half. 2.5 minutes gone at Goodison. The sun is shining, though only on just over a third of the field on the far side. As Michael Keane has possession. Back to Yerry Mina, a couple of yards outside his own penalty area. So his right-hand side to Godfrey. Yerry Mina again. And a couple of short passes with Allen.
He must have saw something else there.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's gone to pass it to someone, he just kicked it straight out of play.
Maybe he saw a blue shirt in the crowd.
Not used to it, that's
yeah,
what it is. Somebody with the Everton shirt on sitting down.
Not seen it for a while, though. I know I can't talk, but judging by the rather large frame of the guy who's closest to it, I would be surprised if he thought it was a player. Here is Rain Nori. I haven't told Tomo this yet, but when I was leaving Tottenham on Sunday, Tomo was well aware that we had to do a long walk around the outside of the stadium to get back to the car park. And obviously, Connor Cody for a moment just about recovers when he lost his footing. Calmly on the edge of his own penalty area with Richarlison closing in. Bolly brings it clear out to the right-hand side to Neves, infield to Jean Martinho. Wide out towards Semedo, infield to Traore. This is good football by Wolves. Traore winning a free kick midway inside the half. There was a fellow outside the stadium, Tomo, and because I'm wearing all Wolves gear and obviously got a mask on, he wanted to take a picture of me, presuming that I was a player. And as you will well know, I don't look like any of the players.
Big centre forwards, that's what it was, mate. Should have gone, mate. Yeah, been playing for a couple of years with Wolves.
It's like a cross between John Parkins, remember him, the Beast, and Jan Molby, reincarnated in a Wolves gear.
So you've got that sitting role, mate. Did you just tell him that?
Yeah, very much sitting. Martinho to take the free kick short to Semedo. Back to Martinho, looking to lift it into the danger zone. It was just up too high for Bolly and hooked away by Richarlison. An awkward bounce for Cody to deal with here. And he nods it towards Kilman. He flicked it over the top of his head, looking for Nouri, who has kept it in. And he just hooked it towards the edge of the penalty area. Keane with the header away. Martinho with a heavy touch. It'll come to Neves, though, who works it to Semedo. And Semedo running towards the right-hand side of the box and trying to drill a cross in, deflected behind for Wolves' first corner of the game. And a decent start so far.
It has. It's a promising start. So, look, I'm hoping they can maintain it and don't just drop off. So, because they're definitely taking it. Because I think Everton will be nervous tonight. I think that little bit injection of the crowd, the form that they've had, and I think that if Wolves can put that little bit more pressure on them, I think that can build on that as well.
Yeah, the form at home, the worst they've ever had. If they do lose here tonight, it'll be the most home defeats in a season they've ever had. There's Martinho with the corner, right-footed from the right-hand side, headed away by Alan. We'll come back to Martinho. We tried to put it through the legs of the Everton midfielder. Didn't quite work. Too many bodies over there. And it got played off Martinho for an Everton throw.
See, it's things like that where you make a little mistake and the end that gets the crowd on their side. You want to try and keep the crowd down with the numbers that are in here by putting the ball into decent areas, putting them under pressure.
Here come Everton trying to drive forwards through Richarlison, but Neves, looked like Neves had got the ball away from him cleanly, but Andy Madley saw something earlier on.
I don't think it was Neves. I think it was Connor Cody or Bolly what made the infringement. So I don't think it was Neves. Oh, then again, looking at the replays, we're holding his arm, isn't he?
It'll be an Everton free kick, about 20 yards inside the Wolves' half. Wolves' defensive line just outside the penalty area. It's to the left of centre as you look towards John Ruddy's goal. Gylfi Sigurdsson moves away. Luca Dean delivers in. Came off the head of Fabio Silva, and Traore initially won the race and then got closed down by Godfrey. It'll be a Wolves throw, but it got the crowd going nonetheless.
Yeah, that's going to be something that will help them. Tackles like that from Godfrey.
Michael Keane's header out of play for a Wolves throw. Ryan Nori will take. Stefan says lockdown finished in France today. Could be eating in a restaurant terrace tonight, but he's listening to Matchday Live Extra at home. Says feed the forwards, not me. You Wolves. Here is Ruben Neves to Bolly. Good to see Bolly back involved.
It is. So it's been a shame what's happened to him. But that just kind of just shows you what's happened this season, though, isn't it, with injuries and the way that things have gone with players.
Long COVID.
Yeah.
Playing its part in Willie Bolly's absence for the last couple of weeks. Decore back in field to Mina. Pressure being put on by Fabio Silva. And it's interesting how Wolves have effectively set up here tonight, where we did talk beforehand about getting the best out of Morgan Gibbs-White. He is playing as a number 10 behind a front two of Traore and Fabio Silva at the moment. So they are all interchanging. General in their defensive shape. Fabio Silva coming to this left-hand side now to close down Ben Godfrey. All goes back to Yerry Mina.
Yeah, he has been over this side a little bit more, hasn't he, Silva? And Traore out on that right-hand side.
Everton have worked it, though, to Gylfi Sigurdsson, who runs over the halfway line and feeds it out to Luca Dean on the left-hand side, being tracked by Semedo. Dean twisting and turning. Forced further back to Decore, who will play it into the centre circle to Yerry Mina. Now back to Abdoulaye Decore. Luca Dean to try and cut in from the left-hand side, tracked by Neves this time. Alan finding Calvert-Lewin. Godfrey carries it, falls down the Everton inside right. Ball took a little deflection to find Sigurdsson. It was blocked off by Bolly as he tried to feed it through. The clearance didn't quite find Gibbs-White, and the pressure just building a touch at Goodison.
It is. They look the opportunity there just to keep possession of the ball. They've worked hard to win it back. And that's what they've got to try and do. They've got to try and win it again.
On a Cody with a little back heel that didn't quite come off, and Sigurdsson playing it behind Richarlison. Semedo dealing with it on the edge of his own penalty area and clearing it early and deep and giving Traore something to chase. And Michael Keane slipped, and Traore trying to get in behind him. And he's going to be penalised here, Adama Traore. And that feels really harsh because both players slipped and Traore seemed to be up quicker. And it was Michael Keane who effectively stood up in front of him and blocked him. And the free kick got given in Everton's way.
I think that he's just got in his way there. So look, he's obstructed him a little bit. But the official over that far side flagging like mad. Did the free kick. Good ball by Semedo, though.
Yeah, it's nice to see Traore just isolating his man. Sigurdsson, midway inside the Wolves half. Out to the Everton left for Luca Dean. Looking to deliver the dangerous ball in, and Cody's header deflected off Bolly, and Neves heads it away from the edge of the penalty area. Alan exchanging passes with Dean. Onto that left-hand side, blocked off by Neves. I'll play for an Everton throw.
Yeah, they're definitely building a little bit of momentum into Everton. You can see the confidence growing in them. So it's up to Wolves now just to try and keep this out. Don't allow them to put that...
Ball delivered in, Richarlison's header, and well saved by John Ruddy. It was a nice height and a nice direction for him. Well, that will do any possible nerves that the experienced goalkeeper would have had having not played for a while, the world of good.
Yeah, he's just got the run, has he? Just got his run on him, on the defenders. Charlison. But so just got to be careful of that. So don't make it too easy. You've got to try and block the cross at least. Got to get close, especially with wing backs. Because they haven't got to come around and cover.
There is Rain Nori on the left-hand side, looking to try and drive forwards. Godfrey and Coleman combining to block him off. And Coleman then falls to the floor and gets a free kick deep inside his own half. Helen says, promising start. She's got a lucky socks on. Our very own Claire Hakeman's listening in whilst at Harrison's golf lesson. Back home for the second half, but we'll continue to listen in to Wolves TV. Also, a few messages for people suggesting I should get you a Bovril at half time. That's not going to happen, my friend.
It's very nice, though.
I know you do love your Bovril, don't you?
It is a nice drink.
Well, let's not go too far. Yerry Mina with a long ball over the top for Calvert-Lewin. He'll go all the way through to John Ruddy.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was water in the pitch when they before the game, and I think that's helped Wolves there because Calvert-Lewin there was just behind them, just skidded through as soon as he hit the surface.
Don't forget to use the hashtag Wolves Live at Mikey Burrows on Twitter if you want to get in touch with us. You can join the live chat right now on the official Wolves YouTube channel. Alan says greetings from Mexico. There'll be many of you around the world. Connor Cody pings a lovely ball out to Semedo. Infield to Gibbs-White, just over halfway, midway between the touchline and the centre circle. Coutinho to Neves, back to Cody, first time to Kilman. Short pass, 15 yards back to Cody, who will look to drill another diagonal out to the feet of Semedo, and Semedo flicking it down the line here for Adama Traore, 10 yards from the corner flag, slightly less now as he tried to poke it past Michael Keane, and the officials look at each other, and it will be a Wolves corner.
Yeah, good idea from Traore there, wasn't it?
Just managed to get himself isolated there, Adama Traore. And he did well with not a lot on and more Everton players arriving. Just to win Wolves another set-piece opportunity. Kilman, Cody and Bolly are all forwards from the back. It'll be Matinho to whip it in. Right-footed from the right-hand side. High-hanging delivery. Kilman was close to it. Comes out to Gibbs-White. Hits it on the volley. What a strike. And an equally impressive save from Jordan Pickford. Well, Morgan Gibbs-White had to wait an awful long time for his first Premier League goal. He nearly followed up that Brighton strike in spectacular fashion there.
Oh, it was a great strike. It was a great strike. Unfortunately, Pickford seen it coming, didn't he? Was able to get his hands to it, but so a good strike from there from Gibbs-White.
Martinez's corner, right-footed from the right-hand side again. Just came off the top of Bolly's head, and Everton trying to get the ball clear. Gibbs-White will intercept there, and he finds Matinho. Matinho finding Gibbs-White, who looks to run on the outside of Luca Dean. Traore gets there, and it's going to be an Everton free kick, and Morgan Gibbs-White, understandably, asking the question as to how that is a foul against him.
Yeah, I think the officials thought that he was just holding him down, I think. So Traore could come. I thought he was a little bit harsh.
Everton 0, Wolves 0, just past the quarter-hour mark. Both sides have had a decent opportunity each. There's Luca Dean trying to add to that for Everton. Cross deflected off Neves through an Everton corner.
Well, this is where they are going to be a threat. Keane coming up from the back as well. Nina. So Godfrey there, so coming up. So just need to be careful.
The Wolves haven't been great at defending
No,
set pieces.
And didn't Everton score the winning goal on a set play, was it, Keane?
Yeah, it kind of came out, and then Andre Gomez whipped it in, didn't he? And Keane was still forwards. Yeah. Stopped the cross on that occasion, which is another bugbear, I know, of a number of people.
Yeah.
It'll be Sigurdsson to whip in this corner, right-footed from the left-hand side for Everton. It's a high-hanging delivery towards the far post, and Calvert-Lewin climbed highest. Comfortable save by John Ruddy.
I think that's a mismatch. Calvert-Lewin is one of the best headers in their team, and Ait-Nouri's picking him up. I think that's a bit of a mismatch.
Wolves do have the added size now with Willy Bolly back involved. It does tend to be that mix of man marking and zonal, which is not always ideal. Now, Adama Traore down the right-hand side for Wolves, just blocked off by Luca Dean, but he still has the ball. Turning back in field, twisting and turning still. Traore towards the byline, cross deflected for another Wolves corner.
Yeah, well played.
They're racking them up at the moment.
Yeah, they are. But that's because they're on the front foot. They're attacking Everton. They're pushing everything back. But the good thing about it as well, though, Traore's been involved in a lot of the games so far, and he makes a big difference. It's good to see.
Jean Martinho getting ready to place the ball to take. Bolly, Kilman are forwards. Cody has stayed back this time. And Jean Martinho picks somebody out. Ball delivered to a high. It was away by Mina. Gibbs-White to the left-hand side to Ait-Nouri. Now Gibbs White to Cody. Now Ait Nouri again on the left-hand side, just over halfway for Wolves. Neves trying to switch the play, but it's a bit adventurous. I don't think he quite realised where Moutinho was.
Yeah, he just pulls it. It's very unlike him, isn't it, to be so far off. Neves. He's always there or thereabouts with his passing over various ranges.
James says this ref is atrocious.
Yeah, there's a couple of decisions that are in question.
Coleman. Bring it backwards to Yerry Mina. Milan says greetings from the Netherlands. Dan says greetings from the UK. Good to have you all with us. Joe from Cork is in as well. Coutinho intercepting on halfway. Couldn't quite find Gibbs White. Decore and Traore challenged, and it will be a Wolves free kick as Decore went sliding in on Adama Traore.
Yes, I think Traore is just a bit quicker than him, wasn't he? Decore. I think he's just slid in a little bit. Yeah, he's coming straight down the top of his foot.
I wonder if VAR might just have a little look at that. I think he does hit the ball, which is...
Oh, it's a bit sore though, top of your foot.
Yeah, it's the follow through.
Yeah, well, we've had people sent off for the follow through, haven't you?
Well, that is...
I don't agree with it if they win the ball, but if that's what they're doing...
Somebody got a penalty recently, didn't they?
Yeah.
VAR having won the ball and fouled afterwards. I mean, there's a fine line between all of that sort of stuff, but we won't get into VAR right now.
No.
Moutinho's delivery. It's a deep one towards Bolly, headed behind by Godfrey. I'm not sure Bolly would have actually reached it, but Godfrey didn't know that. Wolves on the attack once more. Been a decent opening 20 minutes for Nuno's team.
So they put pressure on them. So look, probably in the nearly 20-minute spell, we've had a lot of corners.
This one's taken short to Ait Nouri. Back to Moutinho. Now having to go deeper in the half to Neves. Still inside the Everton half, though. Gibbs White will try and switch the play to Moutinho again, who tried to flick it in field. Bolly back to Moutinho. Now for Traore on the edge of the box. Just crowded out in the end by Decore. Semedo got to the loose ball first, but he couldn't find a teammate, and Everton cleared to halfway, but Neves is there to tidy up.
Yeah, well read by Neves, wasn't it?
Ait Nouri's ball in field, well headed on by Moutinho, because it wasn't the best of balls from Ait Nouri. Here comes Coleman, though, for Everton. Midway inside the Wolves' half, central position to Richarlison. Richarlison looking to whip it in right-footed, and it'll be comfortably claimed by John Ruddy.
Yeah, just got in each other's way earlier on, didn't it, Silva? So looking at Ait Nouri. But again, it's a good start from them. So look, they're definitely looking sharp. They're definitely taking the game a little bit more to Everton. And I think it's something that you got to do, just play on that home form.
Gibbs White, a little 1-2 with Traore, and then a back heel to Neves when he was closed down by two players. Traore with a little bit of a miscontrol from Neves' pass. Semedo's trying to challenge. He pokes the ball forwards. Everton getting control of it, though. And Coleman looking to knock it early again for Calvert-Lewin, and Ruddy comes, and he was clattered into by Calvert-Lewin, but claimed it at the second attempt.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to run into John Ruddy. He come there and just... Calvert-Lewin still went for it. But like, yeah, so he's a big lad, John Ruddy.
There's an interesting element. I do think John Ruddy just plays a few yards further out of his goal than Rui Patricio does, and that might well be needed to negate this Everton tactic, as Traore is fouled on the right-hand side and Wolves will get a free kick just short of being level with the edge of the penalty area.
Well, Calvert-Lewin plays on the shoulders, doesn't he? He wants that ball over the top, and at the moment, because of the amount of water that they're on, it's just skidding through to John Ruddy. But they've got to be so careful because he's quick, he's powerful, and of course he can finish.
This feels very much like a last season Wolves performance so far, and I know it's only been 22 minutes. This is what we came to expect from Wolves in the first 2 years of the Premier League, really. Jean Moutinho has placed the ball, looking for where Willy Bolly and Max Kilman are, having joined those in the penalty area. Coutinho in the sunshine on the far side, delivers in. Adama Traore's flick on, and Yerry Mina's header at the far post. Nobody was really following that flick on. There's Aït-Nouri with a chance to deliver. Come out to Moutinho, who nods it down. Gibbs White trying to strike it, closed down by Alan. Bolly trying to get a foot in. Wolves have won it back again. Fabio Silva for Traore on the right-hand side, waiting for Semedo to run on the overlap, and Traore will try and go on the outside himself, now closed down by Luca Dean. We get support from Moutinho. Wide, Moutinho lost out for a moment. Can't quite see behind the pillar. There's Traore trying to go on the outside, and he'll get another corner, and it's Wolves' sixth of the opening 23 minutes.
And most of it's come from that right-hand side. Traore running at Dina. So it's been good. It's been good. It's positive. And it's nice for the chance to actually see Wolves putting pressure on teams in the first half and actually threatening. And they all look threatening. And if you keep having corners, sooner or later, you'd hope that somebody's going to get on the end of one of them.
Moutinho with a corner, right-footed from the right-hand side again. This time stood to the edge of the box towards Aït-Nouri. Yerry Mina got his head to it. Aït-Nouri having to nod it down to Gibbs White and back to Cody at the base of the centre circle. And Cody will drill a wonderful ball out to the feet of Ruben Neves. Support from Aït-Nouri. Little back heel again to Neves. It's just been a lovely tempo and zip to some of Wolves' play so far. And Gibbs White getting the better of Alan and up towards the edge of the box and trying to force his way through. And it needed Godfrey to come across and play it back to Pickford, who just launched it downfield, and Moutinho wins it in the air. And then he gets to the rebound again, and everything seems to be going Wolves' way at the moment.
Yeah, and again, you can hear them getting restless, the crowd, and the more that Wolves get possession, the more they retain it. You can hear the crowd just getting up.
Aït-Nouri down the line for Gibbs White. Gibbs White tried to reverse it to Aït-Nouri. It comes to Fabio Silva, left-hand side of the penalty area by the byline. He couldn't quite find the room to work it back in field. Alan just putting his foot through it to clear. Too high for Calvert-Lewin. Max Kilman played that really well, actually.
Yeah, he did. So a lot of the crowd won a free kick, but he just stood his ground, Kilman. Did nothing wrong.
He just held off, didn't he? He
just held off.
Knew Calvert-Lewin was going to try and ride his challenge and get a free kick, and he just said, all right, you jump and fall to the floor.
Yeah, so it's good. Just well done by the referee. So a lot of the times get conned by players on that kind of thing, but he did really well, Kilman.
Cody for Neves. Into the centre circle to Jean Moutinho. 25 minutes played. Still 0-0 at Goodison. Wolves having the better of it. And Aït-Nouri twisting and turning up against Godfrey. Nearly forgot the ball. Fabio Silva back to Kilman on halfway. Possession has turned into Wolves' favour. 55-45 now. Gibbs White. It's a little short, that pass from Bolly.
I don't think he was ready for it. That was the problem. I don't think he was ready for it, but he was definitely the ball to be played. Gibbs White, he should have been on his toes. Well, you can hear the crowd, in the said.
Yeah, Everton might be wishing that crowd weren't allowed in.
Well, to be fair, that's credit to Wolves, the way that Wolves have played. They put a lot of pressure on them.
And that was good again, where Everton switched it to Luca Dean, and Semedo really closed in with intent and forced them to go backwards, even in their own half. And then a kick from Pickford to Godfrey, and he missed controls, and Wolves suddenly get a throw. And it's with Neves on halfway, a couple of yards in from the left-hand touchline. Down the line for Aït-Nouri, gets it back from Fabio Silva. Moutinho for Neves.
Got to keep doing this now. Keep doing this. You can see what it means to the Everton crowd, but also as well, it's keeping Everton up from the Wolves goal as well. So it's been good. It's been positive.
Well, again, I know it's been 26 and a half minutes, but this has been the best Wolves performance we've seen for a while. Gibbs White in towards Moutinho. Had to slide to get there ahead of Richarlison. Cody will go back into his own half to collect the ball. Now Bolly. Out to the right side to Traore. Traore surely pushed in the back by Luca Dean. Thank you, Andy Madley. Wolves free kick.
Yeah, so again, he did really well there, Traore. And he knew the challenge was coming. Yeah, but they're not happy all at the minute. And that's credit to Wolves with the way they've done and the way they've played.
It's Cody. So Kilman, midway inside the Wolves half, under pressure from Coleman, who pushed it really high. Everton have, I think, switched back to a back four. Playing Coleman as a more an out right midfielder at the minute. Calvert-Lewin will be intercepted by Kilman. Clearance to halfway. Godfrey picks up on it. We're going to carry it deep into the Wolves half. Leaves it for Coleman. Back infield to Decore. Being held up by Neves for the time being. Has to go all the way back to halfway to Yerry Mina.
Well, they want their team to go forward, don't they? But Everton are just retaining possession, but the only way they can go is backwards, and that's the way that Wolves are playing, the discipline from the closing down.
All forwards towards Calvert-Lewin. Coleman, dispossessed by Neves, who finds the feet of Traore, and Traore, well, he was clattered into by Michael Keane, and Andy Madley said no foul.
Yeah, I thought that he's just coming to the back of him there.
Richarlison into the penalty area, just outside it again, putting it across to Coleman. Coleman lining up a shot, charged down by Kilman. And Fabio Silva has the ball on the left-hand touchline midway inside the Wolves half. Back to Kilman.
Well played, well played. Silva did really well there, and you can see that he's starting to learn the game. Just holding it up.
Ruddy with a little dinked ball to Semedo, and Semedo was dragged down there by Gylfi Sigurdsson, and it's a Wolves free kick.
Yeah, just little things like that from Silva. When the balls go up to him, when he first comes, he said he'd be trying everything just to turn and get going before he's even got control of the ball properly. But yeah, you can see he's actually thinking about it and slowing it down just for Wolves to retain possession, which is good.
Kilman to Cody. Now to Bolly, midway inside the Wolves half. Trying to find the feet of Traore. Traore has just about come away with the ball. And now in towards Fabio Silva. Back to Neves. Swept out to the left-hand side first time to Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri looking to cross from deep. Took a little deflection. Traore, Fabio Silva on the turn. Striking, deflected and just over the top and behind for yet another Wolves corner.
Well, I tell you what, we talk about him being positive and confident in what he's doing, but he was so unlucky. I know the deflection is probably the one that's made it spin, but just that little touch and that composure that he's got. Pickford was definitely scrambling a little bit.
7 corners now in the first half an hour of the game for Wolves.
Oh, so he's very close to actually going over the top of Pickford.
Dominating possession as well. It's creeping up even further. 58-42 now. It's Moutinho. This is the ball right-footed from this left-hand side. An in-swinger, although he plays it short to Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri now trying to cross and didn't beat the first man. Headed away by Richarlison. Neves. Oh, Neves spotted a run of Moutinho, but it took a deflection on its way, and it will be yet another Wolves corner.
Yeah, when Aït-Nouri's putting it in, I always believe that you're better off being bigger than hitting the first man, because if he comes out first, then you're in trouble. But they were able to recycle it through Neves.
Volley's gone in the 6-yard box. Cody waits beyond the far post. It's Moutinho's delivery. And it was an Everton head. It comes to Traore, and Traore striking and tipped over again by Pickford. Well, he waited Adama Traore. He could have struck it earlier than he did. And he stabbed it goalwards, and it was an excellent stop from England's number 1.
I thought he'd lost the opportunity there. We've been closed down, which he's had that touch. Yeah, it's a great save from him, Pickford.
Almost off the outside of his boot there, Adama Traore. I wonder if he could have just struck that first time.
I think he would have been better off having it with the amount of bodies that are in there as well. Just concentrate on your connection with it.
Another Wolves corner, the 9th of the first half so far. Moutinho's delivery, hanging high. Again, though, it's an Everton head. Gibbs White to strike in, and it deflects off a Seamus Coleman, and it will be another corner, and they're into double figures for corners after 32 minutes.
Well, they're struggling to deal with it, aren't they, Everton? They're just getting something on it. But as I said, if you keep having opportunities, sooner or later, the opportunity will come that you can actually have a score. I think Gibbs White, that's his second one as well.
A changing taker, Aït-Nouri left-footed from the left-hand side, so an outswinger this time. Delivered in low to the near post, turned away by Alan, and it'll be a Wolves throw.
Yeah, he's got to work on that delivery. So keeps hitting the first man, doesn't he? Ain't Nuri.
Remarkable, though, just how many corner Wolves have had so far. Silva's just lost out on the ball. Challenges with Coleman. It'll be an Everton throw.
Yeah.
Assistant referee on the near side gave that, and he was a long way away.
Yeah, I was going to say, he done well to spot that. So I don't think all of the ball had gone out when Silva's kicked it off him.
Arlene says, my prediction is that we will get 50 corners today. Milan says 51. Gibbs White. Got a little bit fortunate with a lucky rebound off Richarlison to find Cody, who switched it. Lovely ball again from Connor Cody to find Semedo. Sun is beginning to set. There's less of the field in sunshine. Shadow is taking over as Cody plays a long straight one towards Fabio Silva, and Fabio Silva will keep it in down by the touchline.
Well played. Well played again. Great ball from Connor Cody.
Aït-Nouri back to Matinho. Wide to Rain Aït-Nouri once more. Gibbs White was calling for it. It'll be headed away by Keane. Fabio Silva making a nuisance of himself. I think he thought Aït-Nouri was wide, and he wasn't. He was challenging alongside him.
Yeah, I was going to say, he just got a little bit too close to him, didn't he, Aït-Nouri to Silva. It was a good spell for Wolves again. Was it 33 minutes, 34 minutes gone?
Nath says good start from the lads. Stefan says it's sounding good. May open a bag of scratchings in anticipation of a Wolves win. And the cat agrees. There's Calvert-Lewin. Everton with a rather rare attack. Kilman will have to race to prevent a corner. And Townsend hooks it out of play for an Everton throw. It's been a really good spell.
It is
from Nuno's side.
And when Everton do get attacks, I think it's important that we concentrate and just don't give them a cheap goal. So look, I think that sometimes you've got a tendency to do that. So don't let them in.
Wolves winning it back again, and Neves, he spotted Traore's run. Cross came Michael Keane, though. You can hear the frustration from the home fans. We've waited an awful long time to get in and see their team again.
Probably wish they hadn't come.
Well, they're getting a treat of football, but it's coming from those in gold. Neves is closed down by Sigurdsson. Wolves throw just inside their own half.
Yeah, I think Nuno's going to be pleased with what he's seen. If anything, he probably thinks that probably they have a few more chances at goal. I know they've had a lot of corners.
Traore having that one tipped over. Morgan Gibbs-White hit an excellent volley. Fabio Silva had one that deflected just over the top of the crossbar. Some good chances so far.
There has been. But what I do like about it, it's been sharp. So like they put more pressure on Everton.
Semedo forwards. Traore with a header in field. Gibbs-White just missed it as he tried to flick it on. Will find the feet of Calvert-Lewin, or Cody came clattering into it.
Here, I think. Connor Cody, he'll do well not to have his name in the book.
No.
Oh, no. I'm surprised.
The boos are because he's ex-Liverpool, of course.
Oh, yes. So I was booing him earlier.
It wasn't that bad, and I think Andy Madley's just telling him to calm himself down a touch.
Yeah, he's just late, wasn't he? Just late. No, there's no malice in it.
Alan, I think, might leave it for Luca Dean as Mina, Godfrey and Keane all go forwards, and all three of them are beyond Adama Traore.
See, I don't like that. You see, they've got their three big lads at this back post, and then there's only Traore. I know we talk about zonal marking, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, you wonder whether they just swap Aït-Nouri and Bolly round in the order that they're stood there.
Yeah, but they've got 3 against 1.
Delivered to the far post. Godfrey's header in field. Kilman climbed highest. Aït-Nouri hooked it in the air.
Traore's down again.
He's up and okay. Gibbs-White can't keep it in. Everton throw. Home side just coming back into the game a little bit more after a wonderful spell for Wolves. Just didn't get the goal they deserved. 8 minutes to go until half time. Everton 0, Wolves 0.
I just think that this is okay. They've been under a lot of pressure, but you've got to take so much care. They've got 2 goal scorers in the team. Richarlison's a lucky somebody who's scored against Wolves frequently. Calvert-Lewin, who's always playing on that shoulder, and he just takes that one ball.
All delivered in from deep towards Calvert-Lewin, who climbed high, but his header goes to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Richarlison back to Luca Dean. Low one to the edge of the box, and it's Godfrey arriving. Took a couple of deflections, and will go calmly and harmlessly through to the waiting John Ruddy.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. What's just happened there. Calvert-Lewin initially with that header. And just switched off a little bit there. Dean just pulling it back, and fortunate that it was Godfrey and not one of the strikers, I think.
It's Tottenham 1, Villa 1 elsewhere, by the way. Newcastle 0, Sheffield United 0 in the other game that kicked off at 6 o'clock as Gibbs White just missed control slightly. Coleman back to Godfrey, deep inside the Everton half to Yerry Mina on the edge of the box. It's it back from Alan. And we'll look to carry it forwards and find the feet of Calvert-Lewin. Back to Yerry Mina. 1-2 with Decore. Now switch to the Everton left, and over halfway comes Luca Dean. Further on to Richarlison. Semedo tracking him as he runs in field. And switch the play to Coleman. Coleman's heavy touch though, and Fabio Silva went challenging in, and he came off worse for wear there, Fabio Silva. And then Godfrey took it from Aït-Nouri, but the linesman on the near side, the assistant referee, was flagging. Wolves get a touch fortunate free kick.
Oh, I think he's very fortunate.
Fabio Silva and Coleman collided. There was nothing in that challenge.
Nothing. Nothing in it. Good solid challenge from Coleman.
Haley is listening in from a sunny Cannock chase. Says a big congratulations to my little bro and his partner on the birth of their mini wolf last week. Also celebrating finishing my college course. Come on, me babbies. Congratulations to you all. At Mikey Burrows, hashtag Wolves Live if you want to get in touch. Still Everton 0, Wolves 0. Just over 5 minutes to play of the first half. Yerry Mina with a long ball, trying to get in behind Aït-Nouri. Coleman just about got there, did he? Yeah, it'll be good as an Everton corner.
Yeah, again, that's that ball that can cause a problem. That's why we've got to be so careful. We've got to be switched on.
Home side have just lifted things up a little bit, haven't they? It's only their second corner of the half.
It's going to be an in-swing good as well. Dean, I think, is going to be taking it.
Godfrey, Keane, Mina, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Decore on the edge of the box. Sigurdsson, Alan also there too. Everybody in gold shirts within 12 yards of their own goal. Luca Dean's delivery, in swinging, bouncing round, dropping inside the 6-yard box, and Richarlison put it wide. Oh, it's given us a corner.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a good ball in. I didn't know where it had gone to start off with. Just watching the replay.
So many bodies in and around that 6-yard box, could have gone anywhere.
I think Semedo's just got a touch on it, has he? Oh, I don't know if it was a corner even.
Luca Dean with the corner, left footed from the right-hand side. Semedo's header goes high in the air and John Ruddy comes and claims it. And he wants to get on with things quickly as he saw Morgan Gibbs-White had made a run, but Richarlison was jumping in front of the Wolves keeper. Aït-Nouri back to Kilman on the edge of the penalty area. Infield to Neves. Lovely dinked ball to Semedo over the halfway line. Trying to get infield away from Sigurdsson, finding Martinho. Low across the centre circle for Kilman. Kilman carrying it forwards, wide to Aït-Nouri. Infield to Ruben Neves. Now across to Bolly. Semedo. Martinho taking over. Now Bolly over the halfway line. Traore to his right, trying to pick out the run of Semedo. Just too heavy that pass from Willy Bolly. And Everton trying to come over the halfway line. Though Bolly gets a good foot in, and Gibbs-White first to the loose ball. Managed to dig it out of his feet and find Martinho, who gets it to Semedo. And Semedo setting off on a charge down the right-hand side and trying to feed it in behind for the run of Traore. And Traore's cross is blocked and it bounced back off of Adama Traore and will be a goal kick.
Yeah, it was unlucky there, wasn't he? Unlucky. So like you could see he was just trying to play Silver in. As I say, it's just one of those where it just ricocheted off the defender and then back off him.
Rob says, greetings from Calgary. Decent first half an hour. When we were kids and playing Wembley, 3 corners was a penalty. Can we take them now? In that case, we should have had a couple of penalties.
I was going to say, yeah. Should we 4-0 up?
Well, wait, Nori didn't know Richarlison was behind him there as he was trying to deal with a bouncing ball that had come from deep. Coleman takes it on down the right-hand side, lifts a cross in, and John Ruddy comes out and claims it.
Yeah. Richarlison there just trying to con the referee a little bit. So he went to ground very quickly, didn't he? Without no challenge, really. He was expecting it to come off Ait Nouri. But he just switched off, hadn't he? Didn't see him in the corner of his eye.
Here's Traore. Nice ball out to the left-hand side for Gibbs White, midway inside the Everton half. Back infield to Neves. Now we'll feed it out wide to Ait Nouri. Traore is coming over to help. It'll go back infield to Neves. Neves, a little 1-2 with Matinho, and now switch to Bolly. Back to Cody as Everton try and push out. Cody finding Neves, or Neves with a loose one, but Bolly stretched in with a long leg and just about got there. And Wolves get away with it. And here's Jean Matinho on the turn. And Matinho might be lining up a shot from distance. He did, but he didn't get any kind of power behind it. The direction wasn't quite there either.
No, I think they just knocked him off balance, didn't they? Just when he just went to pull, but got away with that one a little bit. I think as Doucouré's just put a little bit of pressure on him and he just leant on him a little slightly. Just knocked him off balance.
He's scored a wonderful goal against Arsenal. Jean Matinho tends to be his one for the season.
He must be due one now, though, isn't he? He must be due one.
Probably not for another 20 games. Not as potent as Andy Thompson, no. You always had penalties to help you out. There's Luca Dean for Everton. That's the left-hand side. They'll be whipped in by Gylfi Sigurdsson, headed away by Bolly. Fabio Silva trying to hold the ball up. Semedo infield to Matinho. Now Kilman. Under pressure from Calvert-Lewin back to Ruddy. He was on his weaker foot and
yeah, I think that
sliced it out of play.
I think Kilman.
That's half time. Nothing being added on at the end of a first half where Wolves have been pretty good, you have to say. Dominating possession. 10 corners in the game to Everton's 3 so far. Adama Traore perhaps with the best of the opportunities when he poked a shot goalwards that was tipped over by Jordan Pickford. But in truth, Wolves have created quite a bit. They've looked sharp. They've had a good intensity and zip to their play. Nuno will be pretty happy, despite the fact that it is still 0-0.
Yeah, I think they will. I think the only disappointment part is that probably they haven't tested Pickford as much as all the corners show. So but it's been positive play. It's been Traore's looked sharp when we've got him on the ball, and he looks all right. Menace. I think Silva's played up front really well. He's been linking up. He's starting to learn that game even more now. He's becoming a little bit more experienced with it every game. But yeah, so I'll just think that Wolves will be disappointed with the amount of corners and pressure that they've had on Everton that they haven't converted any.
We're going to get the views of Carl Ikeme and Chris Weller in a minute. But before we go to the break, so you don't see what their faces are like, I think this is the best performance we've had for a long time.
I think controlling, for the 45 minutes, I think that we have played really well. So, look, we kept possession, we looked sharp, and it possibly is for a while. So, look, because you go back to the Everton, you go back to Tottenham, you go back to the Burnley games where we never really started the game. And I think we're always playing catch-up. Today, we've looked like we're up for it. We look like we're fighting, we're challenging for everything. And it's good to watch. It's nice to see a team playing with confidence, and also as well that sharpness, that tempo that we talk about.
Okay, we'll get more from Tomo very shortly. We will also hear from Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. This is Wolves TV's Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Wolves Lottery is committed to helping Wolverhampton and the local community improve, whilst giving fans the chance to win some fantastic money can't buy prizes, excellent Wolves experiences, as well as £1,800 given away every week. For more information and to sign up online, visit wolves.co.uk/wolves-lottery.
The Old Gold Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I'd never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Jodian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Gold Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
So half-time here at Goodison. It is Everton 0, Wolves 0. But a story of the first half is that Wolves having 58% of the possession in this game so far. They are into double figures in terms of how many corners they have had. 10-3, 7 shots to 6, 2 on target for each team. Wolves have had 2 off target, and both sides have had 3 shots blocked. And then in terms of passing, Wolves just about shading it in terms of their pass accuracy as well. So it's gone fairly well so far. I don't know, Chris Owellamo. I've not really been in this position where there's not really a lot to criticise, is there?
No, there's not. There's not. Started really well. I think been dominant with the ball. I think we're all. If you're on top, it's so important that you have to try and get that goal. Everton are gonna have moments in the match, and you know what? We've defended well. I think John Ruddy's been alive. He's been alert. He's come out and claimed and been comfortable. I feel we've defended well. There's something that I think it was Ait Nouri's marking Calvert-Lewin and Neves is marking Keane, and that's something I'm sitting thinking, well, that's in their favour, but we've dealt with it. I think going forward, I think Gibbs White has been excellent, fantastic effort from distance. It's one of them. Keane's, he struck it really well. It's a good height for the keeper. If that's a little bit lower, that might just sneak in, because it had the pace on the shot. I think Traore, again, can he come inside? He's always going to the goal line, and to be fair, he's won a couple of corners. He's some great crosses coming in. But you know what? Mix up, come inside and bounce it off the likes of Fabio Silva and go again. But I've got to say, very impressed. The fans have made a difference, but the players have to take responsibility, and they've done exactly that. They've been excellent.
James?
Yeah, completely agree with everything Loom said. I think we've been everything that we've been calling out for a lot of the season, and it's been hard to put a finger on why we haven't been that, but we've been first today in a lot of areas. We've been first in interceptions, we've been passing the ball sharply, playing with purpose, closing down with purpose as well. And apart from not scoring, there's not too much to criticise, as you said. I think obviously Traore has been brilliant as well. been really impressed with Morgan. Talk about his shot. I think he's done well to hit the target. A little bit lower, a little bit higher. Maybe gives Pickford more trouble. But Semedo as well, been really threatening down the right hand side, and we seem to be. They seem to. It's kind of maybe the first time all season where they've looked like they're playing together rather than individuals, and that's been important.
I wanted to ask you all about that, because there'll be a lot of people watching this who'll kind of be going, why is it taken to the 37th game for them to be playing like the Wolves we've known for 2 years?
It's frustrating, isn't it? You can't put too much on it. Fans, possibly. I don't know. Can it be as simple as that? I don't know. It looks like Traore's getting a lot of stick, but he looks like he's enjoying it. Semedo's the first run for Semedo, it looked like it was made with intent, and then I thought, okay, then let's see what you've got today, and maybe the Hoover performances have maybe pushed him on to do that as well. And Aït-Nouri's been very good, been threatening down the sides. I like the way that Morgan's coming in and out the game. Matinho, they've been really well, good. Could look comfortable passing it around, especially the first 25 minutes of the game as well. Like with Codes, his tags. John Ruddy's been really good in goal as well. Been really calm, and I think it's been. I'm trying to think now. I'm thinking it's been as good as first half performance as I remember from Wolves, to be honest. And I know we might have had better results throughout the season. I just don't think we played with that intent and on the front foot all season, and I think that's what's really impressed me.
Looms, this reminds me almost of when we came here in the first season in the Premier League and won 3-1, and we got a couple of goals first half in that game. But it's that kind of zip and intensity that has been missing, it has to be said, for a while.
Well, I think we've got there's a realisation there that how important fans are to players. You know, it is massive getting out, and like Keems has said there, like Traore's getting a bit of stick, but he's loving it. You know, it's gaining him that little bit more, getting on it. He's reacting to the crowd. It's brilliant to see. Now we have missed the fans. And it's a difficult ask for the players to get up. You might get a couple of performances, but it's understandable that it hasn't been consistent because the fans bring so much. You know, the pressures. You know, if you look at the stats, players are covering less distance because the fans aren't in. Because you go that little bit more than the tackles, there's pressure on it. If you're chasing a game, they get behind you. If you're trying to stay in a game or keep that up, they play a massive part. So, yeah, it's good to have them back. Great performance, still 0-0. It's still 0-0. So, again, there has been moments of quality. Like you say, Semedo, a great performance. Come on, let's bring something to it. Let's go and open your account. You know, he's got that quality. Fantastic player. But you know what? Let's see it. And you know what? Competition does. Hoover, the way that he's been performing, it's put that little bit of pressure. Aït-Nouri's been excellent on the left-hand side. But Semedo, too many times, it's that individual error that's cost us or being out of position. Can he get forward more? Can he go and get that goal? Because he gets himself in some great positions. So I just feel that it's an easy chat for Nuno to have to the players. He says excellent.
I think also as well, going into the second half, I think the lads have put a lot in, and I hope it is as simple as the fans being back. I really do, and it possibly could be that. And we've had a up and down season and it's not all been fans. It's been a lot of injuries. Losing Raul's been big, and something and something maybe just the fans being back is maybe just put a spring in a step. But going into the second half as well, it's going to be important the players that are on the bench coming off and making an impact, because they're going to be needed in this game, because I reckon these boys are going to be tired. And I don't know what the running stats are from the season, but I dare say that the intensity of the runs will be pretty high today.
Yeah, but you know yourself, lads, so like, it gives you that edge, doesn't it, when the fans are there? Yeah. So you've got something that who are actually in contact with you, rather than having nobody in apart from the media and the few stewards. It gives you that edge. And as Loom said, I'll tell you what, the crowd definitely changed.
Definitely, they did. You're right. But Tomo,
yeah, you could see Everton getting nervous. Put that pass.
As you said, Tomo, it's not that you don't try any. You're not trying because the fans aren't there. You are trying, Yeah. But as you said, Tomo, they just bring something to the football's nothing without fans. And I know it sounds a bit corny now because it's been said all season, but it just brings an edge to the game. Yeah. And football without an edge isn't quite the same.
It's going to be really interesting the way this goes now because, we've put together 45 minutes now. Now the job is to put together an hour and 75 and get through all the way to the 90. And as the boys have said, get that goal and then it becomes a very interesting game. And this place may even turn even further than it already has. Just very quickly, boys, because I think the players might be coming out very soon. Would you be tempted to changes? I mean, there's 2 goalkeepers on the bench and there's only 8 subs for Wolves. So there's only 6 outfield options really for it today. How long do you give it before you kind of start going, well, do we need to do something different to get the goal?
Well, Mikey, you've said it there. You probably break this second half into 3, don't you? 15 minutes. And if we're still dominant after 15 minutes and basically in control of the match, like we were now, Everton have the quality. They are a counter-attack side as well, and they do it quite well. But if we're dominant, I think that's down to the manager. I think the first 15 minutes is important. I don't think there'll be too many changes. And then that's when he starts to think, right, okay, we need a little bit more of magic. Vitinha might come on, or like you say, a presence up top. You're looking at Willie and Jose. So there's some fantastic options there. And then you've got the likes of, if Neves or Matinho start to tie, you've got the likes of Dendoncker, who again can just get himself into that 18-yard box and maybe at the right time put the ball in the back of the net. So there is fantastic options there.
Yeah, I agree. I think there might be a change in the middle of the park at some point, depending on how the game goes. And I think it would be possibly Dendoncker, and it might be a William for someone else as well. It might be 2 up top. It might change, but I think there's definitely changes that can be made to adjust to how the game's going.
Okay, boys, thank you very much indeed. More from Carl Akimi and Chris Sewellamo after the final whistle. Big second 45 coming up here at Goodison. Don't go anywhere.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via
To helping Wolverhampton and the local community improve, whilst giving fans the chance to win some fantastic money can't buy prizes, excellent Wolves experiences, as well as £1,800 given away every week. For more information and to sign up online, visit wolves.co.uk/Wolves-lottery.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
So just about ready to get going for the second half here at Goodison. Just waiting for all the staff to make their way round. Wolves are actually getting changed in porter cabins outside, which is why it takes a bit longer. But we're back underway. For the second 45 minutes here at Goodison, a return of supporters. That still fairly bright skies, but you can tell the sun's getting lower because the entirety of the field is now in shadow. Wolves unchanged after half-time, so Ruddy in goal, Bolly, Cody, Kilman, Semedo and Aït-Nouri the wing-backs, Neves and Matinho in midfield, Gibbs-White behind Traore and Fabio Silva. Everton with Pickford in goal, then Godfrey, Mina, Keane and Luca Dean, Coleman, Decore, Alan, Sigurdsson, with Charlison and Calvert-Lewin, there 2 up top.
Yeah, I think that we'll be looking for much of the same, but again, just need to be careful with that ball over the top because you can see the Everton players up front. That's what they're looking to do. They just pound that shoulder. Charlison, Calvert-Lewin, so just be careful, but I think just much of the same. Kicking the ball to Traore, he's caused problems. Gibbs-White just backing them up, and Silva just linking up as well.
It's Corre's header forwards. Calvert-Lewin's miscontrol. Martinho's clearance. Fabio Silva nodding down for Gibbs-White, but he had to try and slide in. Coleman finding Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin turning and driving on, just a little bit behind Decore. As Everton are attacking their favoured Gladys Street end second half. Coleman pulling out to the right-hand side, low ball in towards Godfrey, and that's behind, and it's given us a corner.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, I thought that was a goal kick.
I thought that was a goal kick. I thought that's come off Godfrey for me. I think both of the officials got that wrong.
Well, they both looked at each other, didn't they?
Yeah. Who's brave enough to make the decision, I think.
That might be an element of a crowd being back in for once. Officials are not used to having pressure being put on them by supporters to make the choice that they wish. Wolves, everybody back to defend this once more. Right-footed from the right-hand side for Gylfi Sigurdsson. Looking to lift it into the danger zone. Headed goalwards by Richarlison and in. Flicked on at the near post. Finding its way in at the far post. And for all their good play in the first half, Wolves are undone right at the start of the second.
Well, that's that fear I spoke about. That they just need an opportunity. Again, set plays have always been a problem for Wolves this season. Free header from Richarlison. Ruddy rooted to the floor. They're just looking at the ball going past him. Couldn't do nothing about it. And that's what we talk about. It doesn't matter about how much pressure you have. You've got to make sure that you're switched on all the time. Yeah, we shouldn't be conceding that for me.
Less than 3 minutes gone of the restart. And Wolves behind. Talked about it being in incremental 15-minute periods in this second half. Try and keep control of the game. So often, Wolves find themselves behind, and they have to come from behind again.
Yeah, again, so it's just catch up, isn't it? So, like, and again, the crowd was starting to get on Everton's backs, and it was crucial, probably in this first 10 minutes, that you keep them out.
Here's Decore's header. Ollie will get there ahead of Sigurdsson. Martinho trying to poke it on here to Gibbs-White. Fabio Silva making a run to his left-hand side. Here is Fabio Silva. Support from Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri trying to turn away from Alan, and good footwork again, and now trying to drive infield, and Fabio Silva helping it on, and Aït-Nouri, there was just a foot in by Godfrey, and Everton managed to poke it away at the expense of a Wolves throw.
Yeah, so like it just one too many defenders, wasn't they? Right, Nouri. So it'd be interesting how they react. You'd hope it's going to be positive, be sharp, but you can hear what it means to them.
High cross in towards Traore. It comes towards the edge of the box, flicked away by Sigurdsson before Semedo could get there. Richarlison in possession for Everton. Over the halfway line for Decore. On to Luca Dean. Luca Dean in behind. It's just behind Calvert-Lewin. Right side of the penalty area. Coleman to strike it goalwards. And behind for a corner given at the last moment. Again, I'm not sure it was a corner.
Yeah, and this is a fear that I had. We become very open all of a sudden.
I'm not sure that was either.
I don't know if it's come off Connor Cody. Yeah,
off the back of Cody.
Yeah.
Well, 24th time in 37 matches that Wolves have conceded first this season. 81 out of 113 in the Premier League under Nuno. They've not scored in the first half. If you don't score when you're on top,
no,
you cause yourself issues.
Yeah, Looms mentioned it at half time.
Dean's corner into the near post. Semedo's header straight to Sigurdsson, edge of the box. Blocked by Traore.
Got to be heading it there. I'll tell you what. So look, if you're clearing it, you've got to put some distance on it.
Luca Dean blocked off by Gibbs-White. It turns and hooks it forwards. Traore waiting to try and control the ball, and then Everton players all around him, but he did brilliantly to take three out of the game. And Martinho now sweeping it wide to Aït-Nouri, who can drive over the halfway line. And Aït-Nouri trying to deliver it early towards Traore, who's quick, but not quite quick enough. And it's an Everton goal kick.
It's unlucky. It's unlucky. Well, we've seen it in that first half. Once it hits the pitch, it just gathers speed, doesn't it, and skips up. You can see what Aitner, it was a decent ball from him. But they've got to get themselves settled again. You don't want it to be an open game. You want to keep the pressure on them. You want to try and keep them down again, create more opportunities. But it just shows you when you do get opportunities, you've got to take them. You can't afford to keep missing.
That is the hugely frustrating moment.
Yeah.
And it had to be with Charleston again, didn't it?
Yeah, well.
His 5th goal in 6 against Wolves. It's Kilman. Was into the back of Coleman. James says 10 corners, all poor, and then concede from 1.
Yeah.
That's the hashtag Wolves Live. You want to get in touch as Coleman crosses in, ended away by Kilman. Wolves need to regroup. Get settled again into the rhythm that they showed in that first 45 minutes. Mr. Corey plays it to Mina, just the right of the centre circle. Over halfway he comes. Infield to Decore. Now Yerry Mina once more.
You just look at the body language of Everton now, though. Totally changed. A lot of the players has been negative, going back, not putting the ball at risk. All of a sudden now, front foot.
Godfrey on the charge on the right, and his cross deflects off Kilman for an Everton corner. Home side are enjoying themselves. %63 possession so far, second half for Everton. When Wolves had 58 in the first half. That's how much it's turned round.
Yeah, it's been a big swing, hasn't there? But again, so I don't know what it is, because you're always decent at corners, set plays, and all of a sudden this season, maybe it's been a concern and a worry for me.
Sigurdsson's corner, right-footed from the right-hand side, high-hanging delivery. Yerry Mina nodded it down. Calvert-Lewin keeps it in, recycles via Luca Dean on the Everton left. Back to Alan. We'll look to try and sweep it to the right-hand side of the box, headed away by Semedo, and Fabio Silva can now try and carry it forwards. And Gibbs-White made a run down the line, but Decore intercepted. Gibbs-White working hard to try and win it back, but Everton, all of a sudden, when things were bouncing Wolves' way in the first half, not quite so in the second, though. Richarlison just passed it straight to Traore, and Traore has beaten 3 and now strikes it low, and a comfortable take by Jordan Pickford. Brilliant by Traore initially.
It is. I'll tell you what, he looks scary every time he runs with the ball, because he's done a lot of this himself. He's 3 players just on there.
Just dribble past 2, and then the third he just knocked it past him one way and ran the other.
Just didn't catch it as sweet as he wanted, did he? Not real any power in it. But he looks scary when he runs with the ball. So look, we've seen it numerous times already in the games, but tonight as well, he showed us good examples of it.
I know it's easier said than done, and it's far easier for someone like me sat up here to say it, Tomo. So tell me if I'm wrong, but I do wonder sometimes with Traore whether it's that element of somebody saying to him, keep going.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily try and shoot from the edge of the box, because you're so quick. As soon as you get in the area and it's only 2 steps more, they can't touch you.
But that comes from being a natural goal scorer for me. So look, okay, so we can see what he does, but it's having that composure. Look again.
Oh, he's just knocked it past Dean and left him for dead here, and now hooking across high to the far post. Fabio Silva nodded it back into the danger zone. It'll come out towards Semedo and Moutinho, almost got in each other's way. Semedo finding Kilman, having to go backwards to Cody, short of the centre circle. Cody with a little short pass to Neves, who helps it round the corner for Kilman. So Semedo and Moutinho one of them needed to take control.
I was going to say, Traore's got the beating of these 4 players that are marking him, hasn't he?
Well, here he is again, Adama Traore on the right. And he's just going to cross it this time, away by the head of Decore. Sigurdsson for Luca Dean. Down the line for Richarlison, who spins and always had the speed to get away from João Moutinho. And it's Neves who's got back across in front of him. Ball goes infield to Coleman inside the centre circle. Under pressure from Gibbs-White, back to Yerry Mina. And Wolves have got themselves regrouped and back into position.
Yeah, and you heard the moans and groans of the fans. They wanted the team to push on. once he got that breakaway from Nicholson.
Keane infield to Mina. Up towards the centre circle. Decore out to Godfrey on the right-hand side. Back infield to Decore. A little short pass looking for Calvert-Lewin. On to Coleman. Kilman is out there with him. Fabio Silva back in there. Appeals for handball. Nothing given. João Martinho has it. He tries to find Traore, but Keane read it this time. Neves first the loose ball, finding Bolly. Bolly up towards halfway. Hoover setting off. Bolly will try and find him. Luca Dean winning it in the air and able to bring it down as well. Just didn't seem to challenge there, Semedo. Here comes Neves. Into the centre circle for Martinho. Swept out towards Aït-Nouri. Showed too much of it to Godfrey, who intercepts and drives on into the space vacated by Aït-Nouri. Will now put a low ball in towards Calvert-Lewin, who has too heavy a touch, and John Ruddy claims.
Again, that little bit of care again. Got an opportunity to break at Everton and sloppy pass. Gives possession straight back to Everton. And that's where you've got to take that little bit more on it and make sure it reaches its target.
Martinho back infield to Cody. We have played nearly 58 minutes at Goodison. Everton 1, Wolves 0. The long ball for Traore from Cody this time is just a little bit over here. All the good play that Wolves had in the first half, undone early in the second by a set piece. And now up against it once more.
And that's the thin lines in playing Premier League football is you can't afford to let things happen. You can have all the play that you want. You can look really good, and they did look really good in that first half. But once you switch off that split second, you can just punished, and that's what happened to him.
It's Semedo down the right-hand side. Now trying to lay it in behind for the run of Gibbs White. He's overhit the pass. It should have been a more simple ball just down the line for Gibbs White.
Again, it's that care, isn't it? So in vital areas, just keep the possession of the ball. With no pressure on him, you shouldn't be passing it out of play there.
Everton with a goal kick. So you can join the live chat right now on the official Wolves YouTube channel. Stefan says, I'm scratching my head. What do Wolves have to do to score? Aaron says, come on, Wolves. Sigurdsson intercepted by Kilman. Kilman finding Gibbs White. It was a heavy touch by Gibbs White, but he's got the time to recover. A little bit behind Semedo. Back in field to João Martinho. Across the centre circle for Neves from right to left. Further out wide left to Aït-Nouri. Midway inside the Everton half. Aït-Nouri being held up by Coleman for the time being, and across came Godfrey, and it will be a Wolves throw.
I know Gibbs White's playing in that number 10 role, but I'd just like Silva to be more central, I think, for me. Maybe Gibbs White just have a little spell out on that left-hand side. Because if you're looking at that, we've got nobody in the centre who's a natural goal scorer. So you're hoping that Silva is going to be that player in times to come, but he's playing out on that left-hand side. He's not really going to, well, he's not really had any opportunities apart from the deflected shot where he had.
Well, I don't know whether Morgan Gibbs White has got an earpiece to listen to you, Tomo, because he's just done that and gone out on the left-hand side, but now switched over again as Fabio Silva gets it from Aït-Nouri. And now Aït-Nouri down the left-hand side and does well just to jink back in field up towards the edge of the box. Martinho had bodies all around him. And João Martinho.
Wrong decision there. There's a player on the Wolves player there. He didn't need to come in there. There was somebody else who was spare next to him.
Also, though, João Martinho with an unnecessary grab at Alan, who had overcooked his touch. And Semedo was getting to that ball first.
Well, you can't put it down to inexperience, can you?
Absolutely. For the man that's played 850-odd career games. It's one of those, I think, where he knew he wouldn't ever get there first. And he couldn't help himself but have a little grab out. As we go past the hour mark, 61 minutes played. Wolves trail by a goal to nil. Long kick force at Calvert-Lewin heads on, but comfortably through to Ruddy, who Throws it out quickly to Nelson Semedo on the Wolves' right. Semedo held up by Gylfi Sigurdsson. Infield to Neves. Now for Bolly. Traore. Back heel, back to Bolly. Neves takes over. Need to switch the play out towards Aït-Nouri. And Aït-Nouri, I think, has hurt himself here and has fallen awkwardly. And Everton are carrying on. And Aït-Nouri is down in a heap inside the Everton half. And Godfrey is going to sportingly stop play, as Aït-Nouri has barely moved. I think it was because Godfrey jumped in front of him and he didn't quite know what was happening. Did he hit him as he went down, maybe?
No, he's just come down on his ankle, but that. He's just come down awkward on his ankle. I know he's going to have a shot.
A clash from Godfrey just as he jumped in the air. Might have caught him high up on the arm by the looks of things, and maybe on the leg. Adama Traore getting some instructions down in front of us. Willian Jose, Marçal, and Vitinha. Well, the Wolves players warming up at the moment. No sign of any change just yet. 62.5 minutes played.
I think they can still get something out of this game, Wolves, but just got to be a little bit more positive like they were in that first half.
Come back to Pickford, who will look to launch it downfield towards Richarlison, who chested it down into the path of Sigurdsson. Wide for Luca Dean. Back to Alan. Forward middle of the half to Richarlison. Looking forwards. Cody intercepts his pass, though. And Bolly turns and hooks it clear. And Traore with a flick in field. And Gibbs White was telling Traore to get moving. And Traore rather reluctantly did. And they allowed Keane to stay with him. It'll be a Wolves throw down by the corner flag.
I don't know what it is, belief or what, but there's no way that Keane should be catching him. It's a great ball from Gibbs White.
Well, it's just Morgan. It shouldn't need Morgan Gibbs White to tell Traore, having played it in field, to turn and go.
I know. He's pausing when he did that, but he's give Keane an opportunity to get at him. He should know. He shouldn't have been anywhere near him.
Wolves have had to recycle all the way back here to Bolly. Looking for the feet of Fabio Silva. Yerry Mina got a touch too tight there, and Fabio Silva on the turn, finding Matinho. Out to the right-hand side to Traore. Fabio Silva's gone down the line. Traore trying to feed it through for the run of Semedo, just to the right side of the penalty area, standing across up, but nobody in there, and Pickford has a rather comfortable claim.
I'll tell you what, I think Silva's done really well with link-up plays. I think he's held the ball up numerous times really well, bringing people in.
Here's João Matinho. Infield to Neves. Swept early, over halfway for Aït-Nouri. Fabio Silva had pulled wide left. Aït-Nouri's run on the overlap for him. Here is Rayan Aït-Nouri. Attempted low cross, deflects. Coleman. Fabio Silva got a foot in there. Coleman eventually getting it clear. This might have been a good thing, because Rayan Aït-Nouri would have definitely been offside had Wolves gone on to score from that. VAR would have certainly picked that up. There's Bolly. Matinho. Trying to feed it in behind for the run of Semedo. It's not a bad ball. And
yeah, it's gone
out of play. It's a goal kick.
It's unlucky. It's unlucky. But again, it's that positive thing what they're doing. So it's good to see that they're still trying it. But in this second half, was it 20 minutes gone? We haven't tested Pickford at all. Now we got him to do a couple of saves in the first half. But Everton have only had that one opportunity and scored it in the second half.
65.5 minutes played. Everton 1, Wolves 0. Second half stats, well, possession's gone back to pretty much 50-50 as Cody wins it in the air, and Aït-Nouri infield to Neves, nodded down again for Aït-Nouri. Coleman got there first, though. To Corey, into Calvert-Lewin. It's Kilman snapping away at him to try and win possession. Switched by Calvert-Lewin to Luca Dean. Now Gylfi Sigurdsson. Back to Yerry Mina inside the centre circle. On halfway, just over it now. Trying to find Decore, swept out to the right-hand side. Seamus Coleman once more. Have to go all the way back to halfway to Yerry Mina. Wolves with just one effort in the second half so far, that Adama Traore shot. And that might be the reason why Willian Jose is stripped and ready to come on. As if Wolves keep getting into good areas out wide, they need a bit more of a target man in the middle.
Well, I said to you about, I think he's done a good job, Silver, but I just think that we need somebody in that middle. I know Gibbs White's in there.
Oh, it's Gibbs White who's coming off, and that'll be frustrating for him.
Yeah.
I think he's had another good game.
He's had spells throughout the game, hasn't he? But I think it's just, for me personally, I think that they just want somebody in that central position to actually do something. I think Silver's done really well. Traore's caused a problem, but because of Gibbs White playing that deeper little role, we just got nobody in there. Hopefully, Willian will do that.
Carry himself a touch unfortunate, I think, more than Gibbs White. Another good performance. He's done well last couple of weeks. Coutinho for Semedo. Try and drive over halfway and looking to go on the outside of Alan and showing his pace here, and now infield to Traore. Traore just inside the box, waiting for some support to arrive. Waited too long, and the ball's hit the referee, and they will stop it, and Everton will get the possession. Good run by Semedo.
Yeah, it was.
Traore again, and I know you talked about it earlier about him not being a natural finisher. In that kind of position, it's almost like just get it out of your feet and hit it.
Yeah. But that's the thing. So he's just catching people unaware by having that shot. And sometimes by doing it, you surprise people by getting that opportunity to shoot.
It's always the way I remember Semedo battling away with Luca Dean. Across comes Bolly. Ali Robertson talking about, I used to coach Bolly when you and he first arrived. Just say, you've got to hit it. Let's shoot early. The earlier you shoot, the more opportunity you've got because the keeper's not set.
Yeah, Bully used to do it all the time. So as soon as it comes to him, he just smack it. And as I said before, in training, with his left foot, he couldn't even pass anything with his left foot, but get in front of goal, and he was smashing it in the top corner. And that's the thing, it's been instinctive just having a go at goal. And by hitting it early, goalkeeper's not set, the defenders aren't picking you up. Because that extra touch just gives the defender a chance.
Everton free kick midway inside the Wolves half, very central position. It's a long way out. The Wolves wall will be a good couple of yards outside the D. I think it's only going to be a two-man wall, or maybe one-man wall now. Fabio Silva's decided against joining it. So João Moutinho is the only blocker. Luca Dean and Gylfi Sigurdsson stood over it. Mina, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Keane, and Godfrey, all the targets, all spread across just inside the Wolves box. Do they go right or do they go left? That's the Everton dilemma. It'll be Luca Dean to dink it towards the right. Keane back into the danger zone. Kilman heading it away towards the corner flag, and Fabio Silva putting pressure on Michael Keane. His ball in field is picked up by Ait Nouri, who plays it off to Corey for a goal kick.
Yeah, so he had nowhere to go, did he? He had to do that. And the best out of a situation there.
20 minutes left to play for Wolves to try and find an equaliser.
Well, as you're thinking about it, Ruddy's had really nothing to do apart from watch the ball going into the net from the header. Richarlison.
There is Yerry Mina. Michael Keane gets it back from Alan. Everton, a little loose pass by Michael Keane, but
still didn't get it.
Richarlison got there first.
See, that's the difference as well. That first off, we would have had that. First off, we were winning those kind of balls.
There's Richarlison again, on towards Calvert-Lewin. He's got the wrong side of Cody. Good save by Ruddy, who will claim it at the second attempt.
Good positioning from him. Experience there.
There's Traore. It's a free kick out on the
just watching that over there.
Halfway.
Ait Nouri. Traore's in front of him. Loads of space behind him. That's where Traore's just got to spin. For me, it's tight out there. He's ended up getting a foul, which is good. But just spin behind. So look, they put the ball behind there. And that, for me, don't do that enough. So look, he's got opportunities. He's got a lot of space behind him.
Volley, infield to Cody. Now for Kilman. Martinho has been caught here by Richarlison and gets a free kick. And Richarlison didn't like the way Martinho just held a foot out to him.
No, I think he's lucky again there, Martinho. Was it Brighton? He got caught in the middle where he's doing the similar time. You're not going to get that time on the ball.
Cody with a free kick. 72 minutes played. Kilman infield to Cody, now to Bolly. That's still been a much improved Wolves performance tonight. They haven't got the goal.
No, and that's the difference at the minute. So like Wolves haven't got the goal. And so like Everton have got it from a corner, which we know that we don't defend very well this season. But you just got to get on with it. But you've got to start creating more as well.
Nouri driving forwards. Out to the left-hand side to Traore. Traore trying to go past Godfrey and his cross is blocked off. It is a Wolves corner though.
But that's what he did in the first half, wasn't it? Things like that, running at the defenders. Was it 10 corners we got in the first half?
Yeah.
And I think 7 of them come from him running at the defenders.
First corner of the second half.
What's wrong with them?
Well, by this point, they'd had 8 in the first half. Martinho will take, right-footed from the left-hand side. Willian shows a Bolly, Fabio Silva, Kilman. All to aim for. It goes short to Nouri. Back to Martinho. Tries to whip it in first time. It's high hanging and Pickford came a long way, palmed it down and claimed it. Needed to be a better delivery that from João Martinho.
Yeah, it's too much air on it, wasn't there? Too much air on it. Lofted up. Needed whipping in a little bit lower.
Pickford's kick. Talk about Wolves being able to score or take opportunities. It's worth reminding that, of course, there's been no Raul Jimenez since November, no Pedro Neto for the last couple of weeks either.
Yeah.
No Daniel Podence.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, hasn't he seen a specialist this week?
Raul.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's good news that he can start to come back. But again, I won't bother probably this year. Just leave for next. Have a good pre-season.
Fabio Silva trying to hold it up on the right-hand side. Semedo put in by Sigurdsson. Nuno in deep discussion with Rui Pedro Silva, who's number 2. And well, they just want a ball back, actually, rather than looking for a sub.
There you go. So he's just topped the cone to get the ball back.
Semedo back to Bolly. Under pressure from Richarlison. Lifts it down the right-hand touchline to Fabio Silva. Trying to hold off Luca Dean. Does well. Semedo finds Neves. Switched across the centre circle for Kilman. Just wonder whether they'll think about maybe Vitinha for Martinho. To give them something a little bit different in midfield.
Yeah. Well, they need a spark from somewhere. But again, just getting back to Silva, again, holding that ball up. It's the composure that he's got now.
There's no doubt he's a lot better at that.
He's miles better. And so, look, you can see the improvement in him.
Oh, Neves, lovely ball over the top down the left-hand side for Traore. Traore back onto his right foot and a good cross, and it was just taken off the head of Fabio Silva by Michael Keane. Semedo, Neves, first-time cross, swinging. Pickford comes and punches. Only as far as Nouri on the Wolves' left. Further wide and to the edge of the box to Traore. His cross headed away by Mina. Kilman trying to nod it back wide, but it's gone straight to Coleman. And Everton will try and set off on a counter-attack. Decore going to turn away from Neves and switch it to Luca Dean, who will try and switch it back with a long diagonal towards Calvert-Lewin, who climbed high, but heads it harmlessly through to Ruddy, who rolls it out to the feet of Neves. And Wolves are trying to get moving again.
Yeah, I think sometimes just let Calvert-Lewin just edit, because he's usually up there on his own. And as he's done numerous times in this game, he's just headed it. He's won the header. But he's been headed it to a Wolves player or the goalkeeper.
Cody, short of the centre circle. Short pass to his right hand side to Bolly. Now Jean Martino. Closed down by Alan. Back to Bolly. Bolly holding him off and couldn't find Fabio Silva. Intercepted by Decore, who gets it back from Sigurdsson. Now to Richarlison. Edge of the centre circle in the Wolves half. To his left-hand side to Alan. Further wide to Luca Dean. Down the line for the run of Richarlison. Looking to play it on back infield to Alan, who holds off Fabio Silva, but Moutinho with a foot in, but he's giving it straight to Gylfi Sigurdsson, who curls it. Oh, just into the side netting. Hit the bar behind the goal, and plenty inside this stadium thought he managed to sneak it into the top corner for a moment.
Yeah, a few errors there from Wolves. They've had an opportunity to get the ball and ended up getting it straight back to Everton. Oh, it's fortunate there. Probably Kilman just put enough pressure on him to force him wide with his effort. It's a bit of a let-off, I think.
Connor Cody in possession. Now for Ruben Neves, trying again to lift it in behind for the run of Traore, headed away by Mina. Corey beat William Jose in the air, and Coleman turning and running it up towards halfway. Ball's going to come through to Cody. Now Neves, just short of the halfway line, into the feet of William Jose, on the turn and finding Aït-Nouri on the left-hand side. He's got Traore just ahead of him. Here is Adama Traore, level with the edge of the penalty area. Now trying to go on the outside towards the byline. It's a powerful run by Traore, and his cross took a deflection, and it nearly squeezed in.
I'll tell you what,
goes behind for a corner.
Oh, for a second there, I thought he'd gone in.
It was a brilliant run by Adama Traore. Skipped away from two and tried just to flick it back into the danger zone, and it could have gone anywhere.
Oh, I'll tell you what, is that handball? Is that a handball from Decore?
I think we might be getting a check, you know.
I'll tell you what, it looks like handball to
Andy
me.
Madley has just asked Jean Martino to pause for a moment. All eyes on the referee, who's got his finger to his ear.
Is this with his hand? Yeah, his hands have come away from his body. Oh, I'll tell you what.
We are getting an official VAR check.
I think that's a penalty.
No, it's not. It's going to be a corner. So check over.
Oh. If it was against us, we probably would.
Martinho's delivery. Fabio Silva's flick on, bounces around, comes outside the box. Semedo tried to get there, heavy touch, and Richarlison trying to carry it clear. And Richarlison goes down under a challenge of Nelson Semedo, who will get a yellow card.
Oh, it needed to be done. Needed to be done. The foul. He's getting away with Richarlison.
Double change coming for Wolves. Both Vitinha and Leander Dendoncker, who this week was named in the Belgium squad for the Euros. And it's Willy Bolly who will go off for Dendoncker.
Well, that'll be because of the time he's had off, I would think.
Yeah, you would imagine so. Trying to be careful with
Yeah.
it.
Well, once you start to get tired, then that's when injuries set in. But he's done all right, Bolly, today.
And it is Jean Martino who comes off for Vitinha.
And they're going back to a 4 at the back.
I tell you, Looms is going crazy in our WhatsApp group. Says 100% a penalty. No idea what they're doing. Hand to ball.
His hands come away from his body. And I know I said, like, if that was against us, the penalty would have been given. And again, it's that I'm not even going to go it. Consistency always comes to mind for me.
I've not seen enough of the replays because it's a big TV screen. Again, looks like it's been taken out of Tomo's living room to our left-hand side. It's Sigurdsson on the curl, deflected and just wide. Oh, goodness me, that was close from Gylfi Sigurdsson. Closer than his effort a moment or so ago.
I thought that was in. I thought the deflection had took it past Ruddy.
Turned onto his right foot, curled it goalwards. Ruddy was at full stretch. Everton are preparing a change of their own. And they are going to make it before they take it. It's Tom Davis coming on for Seamus Coleman. Of a natural midfielder. I was keeping an eye on Andy Madley on that penalty decision. Tomo was watching the replay. Said,
I think it's a penalty, mate.
Tomo and Chris Orellamo. I think it's 100% should have been Wolves' penalty.
Well, I think his hands come away from his body. He's like, flick the ball away.
Everton corner, right-footed from the right-hand side. Everybody back to defend. Tinia and Semedo trying to block the near post. It goes over both of them. Headed towards the far post, but Willian Jose will try and bring it clear, though Calvert-Lewin got there in front of him. Luca Dean blocked off by Willian Jose, who plays a very good ball into Traore. If he controlled it first time, Vitinha had made a great run to the right-hand side. But it bounced off for Adama Traore, and that allowed Everton players to swarm around him.
Yeah, and I don't think he realised how close they were actually to him. So like they just got crowded out in the end.
Corey, well, that was a loose ball back.
Oh,
everybody's got a case of it at the minute.
I know, they're all miscontrolling the ball.
Stray passes going everywhere. Michael Keane's just kicked it out of play. Ball's thrown midway inside their own half. Semedo back to Cody. Just over 7 minutes left to play. Still Everton 1, Wolves 0.
There's a change in formation as well for us as well, isn't it? Got rid of the 5, gone to a 4.
Yeah, Kilman and Cody centre halves. Dendoncker and Neves midfield 2. Vitinha playing anywhere he wants. As Fabio Silva lays it on for Willian Jose on the right side, a low one in. It was Tom Davies who was back there to clear ahead of Vitinha. But Traore stayed on the left here for Wolves. I think Fabio Silva may be playing towards the right now, and
it's well played
behind Willian Jose. And lovely work from Cody to Kilman.
Yeah, it's a great play from Conor Cody because Calvert-Lewin just flicked the ball past, and he's going to be the one who's going to win it. He just stood across him and just let him run into him.
Traore's running to Alan. The ball comes to Neves down the left-hand side for Aït-Nouri. 2 to aim for in the penalty area. They'll come back to Neves, who will look to cross from deep. Yerry Mina's clearance. Semedo there first, a little bit hesitant coming onto the ball, Semedo, and turning backwards and finding Dendoncker. Infield to Vitinha. Vitinha having to go backwards to Kilman. Swept out to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Down the line for the run of Willian Jose, level with the edge of the penalty area. Back infield to Neves. Neves trying to lift it out to the right side to Traore, who chests it down to Nelson Semedo. Semedo 30 yards from goal, wide to Traore, flicked it over the top of Luca Dean, was blocked off. Wolves free kick.
I think he's fortunate there, I think.
Andre Gomez being prepared to come on for the home side. And it's Vitinha, I think, who's placed the ball. It's Gylfi Sigurdsson who will come off. And Sigurdsson has got to put the captain's armband on Luca Dean before he leaves the field of play.
Well, surely he just should be walking off.
Andy Madley's telling him he should just step off the field where he was. And he's insisting on running towards the halfway line before he does so. And eventually, having run pretty much parallel with the touchline, 2 yards in field for 30 yards, he eventually steps off it. And on comes Andre Gomez. Tinia's free kick, right on the right-hand touchline. 4 to aim for. Took a deflection.
It's closer than 10 yards when it's sitting.
Comes to Cody, right inside of the centre circle. Out to the left to Aït-Nouri. Now further wide to Neves, looking back in field. Has to switch it across to Cody. Now for Semedo. Vitinha had come short. Semedo trying to lay it down the line, intercepted by Luca Dean. There is Calvert-Lewin. Over halfway, back into his own half to Yerry Mina. Even more discussion in our WhatsApp group about that penalty decision. My colleagues saying pretty much identical to the one given against Kilman earlier this season away at Leicester.
Exactly.
Goal that proved crucial in the end. Look how Leicester have gone on.
Well, that's won them the game, hasn't it?
That and a wonderful save by Kasper Schmeichel to deny Neves second half. So there's fine margins.
Yeah, but say again, it's consistency from the officials for me. VAR, I don't understand what have they seen? Clearly nothing. But so I don't get it.
Cody infield to Kilman. 3 minutes of the 90 left to play. Neves to the left-hand side to Aït-Nouri. Still Wolves are pressing, trying to find that equaliser. Aït-Nouri rather ran into a couple of bodies. Neves has done well, though. Ball is wide left with Willian Jose, whose cross comes through. Fabio Silva couldn't quite get there. Keane's header away. Vitinha recycles it to Semedo. Down the line towards Traore, who lost his footing and ball went past him. Traore, though, putting pressure on Alan. Luca Dean will just scoop it clear. Oh, and Cody backed off, and Richarlison got there first on halfway. Being tracked by Dendoncker. Gets away from the Belgian. Richarlison up against Cody. Looking to cross it in towards Calvert-Lewin, who missed it. And it goes through for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's come from our attack. Again, so we've got to be better. Just got to try and keep it.
Everton are preparing another defensive change as Wolves get on with things.
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes left, haven't we? Normal time just coming up. There you go. There's that spin.
Down the line for Traore. Traore with 2 for company. Infield on his left foot. Crossing to the far post. There was one in the air by an Everton head. Comes out to Neves. Now Vitinha. Neves again. Turning. Looking ahead. Not a lot on. Goes wide left to Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri back in field to Ruben Neves. Neves trying to scoop it for the run of Vitinha. Away by Mina. And Kilman will give chase to keep it in on the left-hand touchline on halfway and infield to Dendoncker. 90 seconds of the 90 remain. Cody, infield to Dendoncker in the centre circle. Now for Kilman. To Ruben Neves. Further down the line is Aït-Nouri. Neves goes infield to Vitinha. Vitinha trying to flick it around the corner to Fabio Silva. Back to Ruben Neves once more. Swept across towards Cody, right-hand side of the centre circle. Further on to Semedo. Minute 10 remains of the 90. On towards Traore. Luca Dean at his back. Traore trying to hold him off. Feeds it infield to Willian Jose. Willian Jose, it'll come towards Traore again. Traore just on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Trying to whip across in, and Pickford plucks it out of the air at the near post.
Yeah, got to try and give it some kind of ammunition in there, haven't we? So 2 or 3 times in this second half, we've dinked it up. It's just been Pickford's ball.
Pickford has waited a good 25 seconds already here. They never do that 6-second count anymore, do they?
No. No.
Pickford smashes it straight out of play, and Decore will go off to allow Mason Holgate to come on. Not to keep believing here, Wolves. It's been a good performance, really. They don't deserve to lose this game. It's been much more like the Wolves of old this evening. Except they haven't had the finishing touch. 4 minutes being added on.
Well, it is. So, and you just think about it, you've got your 2 goal scorers really out at the side, of Neto and Jimenez. And if you play like this, I'm sure that we would have probably scored more goals than we have this evening, which is none at the moment. But it just gives you that cutting edge, and it just shows you why they're so valuable to the team.
There's Vitinha. Nice. Oh, William Jose was trying to find Dendoncker, who's just a little bit behind him. Calvert-Lewin caught a little bit by Neves, and it's going to be an Everton free kick just inside the centre circle. Well, we'll get the views of Chris Iwelumo and Carlo Kimi after the final whistle. And then it'll be all towards Sunday and the return of fans to Molineux for the visit of Manchester United on the final day.
Have they said how many fans are going to be able to come?
I think it's 4,600, I think.
What is it?
So unfortunately, they won't be able to open the Billy Wright because they're worried about too many people getting close to Tomo.
But no, you're the new footballer in the town, mate. So, like, no.
Absolutely not. Yerry Mina has had a 15-yard run-up for this free kick on the halfway line and has launched it towards the corner. Calvert-Lewin fouls Cody. Will's free kick, and then Richarlison kicks the ball away.
He's not going to say anything? Isn't that a booking?
Should have been a booking.
Oh, it's frustrating. Just watching some of these referees and the inconsistency of everything else.
Well, the idea that Wolves are going to feel hard done by a VAR decision yet again will feel all too familiar to way too many of us. Traore can't quite hold on to the ball, and down goes Elan. Everton free kick midway inside their own half, and we have a minute 40 remaining. Mina now leaving it for Pickford.
We'll move the ball. There we go. Rest a few more.
He's got to place it on the exact blade of grass that he really wants to kick from. And by the time Pickford kicks it, we now have a minute 10 remaining. We won't see that 30 seconds again. Charlison down by the left-hand corner flag. Just away from Semedo, right on the line. It'll be a Wolves throw. And they've got to get downfield quickly. Semedo's played an awkward one in field of the throw to Kilman, who did well. Cody clears it up towards William Jose. That's a nice touch back. A little bit short to Aït-Nouri though, but in steps Neves. And Neves trying to release Fabio Silva. Fabio Silva driving towards the left-hand side. He's got Godfrey with him. We'll play it back in field here to Neves. Midway inside the half. Looked up, nothing to the right-hand side of him. Has to go back left to Aït-Nouri. His cross is charged down. And Godfrey just sweeps it downfield. Neves, nice turn away from Calvert-Lewin. Trying to play it in field, blocked off by Tom Davis. And 15 seconds remain. Davis blocked off by Vitinha. Fabio Silva can't get to it. Neves. William Jose overhits the pass to Traore. And that is going to be that. And it is.
Yeah.
The final whistle at Goodison. Wolves beaten. Completely dominant first half. They got into double figures in terms of corners. Adama Traore had their best chance. But Everton struck early in the second half. A set piece of their own. Richarlison climbed highest for his 5th goal in 6 appearances against Wolves. Adama Traore had the best chance second half. 2 good efforts, actually. The second that nearly deflected in, hit the arm of Abdoulaye Doucouré. VAR looked at it, didn't give Wolves a penalty. That will be a big controversial moment from this game. But in the end, Wolves just didn't have enough to try and get back into this one. It was a decent performance from Nuno's side. A bit of a response from their defeat at Spurs at the weekend. But in the end, it was not to be enough. And they were beaten by 1 goal to 0.
Yeah, so look, it's unfortunate, but say it's something that you've got to do. You've got to try and make sure that you don't give the opposition opportunities. They haven't picked them up on a set play, which has been something that we've struggled with all season. Apart from that, I thought Wolves played well, especially first half, but didn't really cause a problem in that second half. Didn't really threaten Pickford's goal. And it's a shame, Salah, but it's something that can work out. 1 game left. Let's hope that we can go off on a high.
Some good performances, and Ruben Neves is chasing after the officials here, and he's got himself a yellow card after the play, a long way after the final whistle.
Well, I agree with him. Penalty. I don't understand why it hasn't been given. Don't understand. Some of his, again, it says some of his decisions earlier on in the game, and VAR, it's there to overrule the referee if he's made a big and clear mistake. Yeah. And for me, it was a big mistake that it should have been given.
Well, a real sense of injustice as Wolves players head towards the corner and their dressing room out in the car park. Everton's players are going to do a lap of appreciation to the supporters who've waited a long time to get back inside this stadium. The Wolves had a decent performance tonight. It may well be forgotten in the grand scheme of things in a season which has had plenty to forget, it has to be said. But this was much more like the old Wolves this evening. They just didn't quite have the killer moment in front of goal. We'll get the thoughts of Chris Owellamo, Carl Ikeme and Andy Thompson in a couple of minutes on Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Wolves Lottery is committed to helping Wolverhampton and the local community improve, whilst giving fans the chance to win some fantastic money can't buy prizes, excellent Wolves experiences, as well as £1,800 given away every week. For more information and to sign up online, visit wolves.co.uk/wolves-lottery.
The Old Gold Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molyneux on a few occasions, and I'd never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Jodian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Gold Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Full time at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Wolves 0. Wolves dominating the first half and in the end dominating much of the second half, but they didn't get the goal that they needed and they were beaten by that early header in the second half from Richarlison. The story of the game, Wolves with 59% possession over the entirety of the match, 60-40 second half, 58-42 first half, but the difference really, 7 shots for Wolves in the first half, only the 2 in the second. They only managed 2 corners in the second half compared to the 10 that they got in the first half as well. Overall, they had 12 corners to Everton's 7, but Everton 14 shots to Wolves 9, and Wolves more accurate with their passing as well, 84% compared to 79% for the home side. But Carl Ikeme, as ever, the only stat that truly matters is the goals column. Everton got it in and Wolves didn't.
Yeah, they did, and it was a pretty good display from us. I think, all in all, I think you're always going to have moments where you're under a little bit of pressure, and Everton come out in the second half sharp, as you would imagine after a very I don't know if it was a poor first half performance. I think a dominant Wolves first half performance. So disappointing to concede in the way we have. Been a real problem for us defending crosses, defending set plays, defending corners. It's something that needs to be addressed, and I think that's the one disappointment in today, along with probably the factor in our season. And I'll say it again, is creating clear-cut chances and finishing them chances when we got. I think that was I know Everton didn't really have that many clear-cut chances, but they took advantage of it when they did. And I think that's been, it has been our season. really in a nutshell, really, has not been able to create chances. But the only positive thing is that we looked like we was on the front foot today. We looked sharper in possession, and we look like we was playing with more intent today than we have.
I know, Looms, that you're itching to talk about the penalty. Just hold off on that for a second. In terms of the performance overall tonight, how did you rate it?
Yeah, you know what, I was happy. I think, like Keems has just said, they're on the front foot, used the ball well. I think fantastic quality, probably in the defensive and middle third. Broke down in that attacking third. You know, that quality. But set pieces are massive. You know, in a game that is as tight as it was always going to be this evening, you have to make sure that you defend your box well, and in the attacking box you go and challenge and compete for everything. You know, I think there was some individual performances that were outstanding. Again, getting the ball, playing with intent, driving forward with it, trying to make things happen. But when you're on top, and we said it at half time, you know, you can dominate a match and still come away with nothing. That's exactly what's happened today. You know, second half, you'd expect more chances than just the 2 attempts. You know, that it should be better than that way. How dominant you were with the ball. There was moments, big moments. Again, you've told me to hold off on it, so I will. But it's a disgrace. You know, it's just one of them.
Told me to hold up on it, so well, it's a disgrace.
There's positives. There's a lot of positives, but we came away from a match that we've been dominant with the ball, not really created many chances with the amount of ball that we've had, which is a disappointing thing, because you know what, there was some fantastic ones. Traore again, you know, I think that just he's unplayable. He's unplayable, getting himself into that 18-yard box, and you just think, what, the goalkeeper a little bit better. There's some crosses. Pickford done very well, by the way. He came out every time he could and claimed it, and it just kind of takes the kind of the steam out the Wolves attack. But I still feel that we've got more about us in that attacking third that we never really seen tonight.
Yeah, well, Looms, just to add to that, like I'm just sort of thinking of more things you can work on. Do you think maybe we should have? I know Fabio's not necessarily a person to run in behind, but do you think that's what we kind of missed, that especially in the second half, is someone that was going to prepare to run in behind, not necessarily to get it, but to create a little bit more space?
Well, that's it. In the game, you know, Fabio, I think he's learning so much about the Premier League's all about, you know, and he has such he holds the ball up so well, so he always wants to come and link up, you know. And I think that I'd love to see him in a pairing, you know, that he's running in behind because he's gambling. It stretches the pitch a little bit. But I just feel that tonight's match, we kind of played into the way that they wanted. They want it compact. They want us to kind of play through the centre when we've got great quality in the wide areas as well. So that's where you go, and then you have bodies breaking their neck to get in the box to get on the end of it. But I just feel that when you're so dominant and you pinned them in, and I said it at half time, like Everton, when they're on front, they manage the game well. You know, they'll play counter-attack, they close it up, they're hard to break down, and then all of a sudden in that transition, 2-3 passes, they're in your attacking third, and everyone's scrambling back to get into position to defend. So the first goal is so important. It changes the full outlook of the match. You have to take unnecessary risks to try and get back into the match, and it is a difficult one, and that's why you can't keep conceding first.
But almost, I guess, though, that it was only really a couple of Gylfi Sigurdsson efforts from outside the penalty area that caused Wolves any problems, having gone 1-0 down. I don't know whether you boys agree with that.
Yeah, so look, I just thought that Wolves played well until that final third. I think that just sometimes, I just like it, we want everything to fit. Traore, Ait-Nouri down that left-hand side, we want to fit. Sometimes a ball just over the top or a ball just inside the fullbacks. And we said it, I think you said it on comms, where he was reluctant at one stage, where he's had to tell him to run the other side of him. He should be doing that instinctively for me. He should be just like getting a little 1-2 or even just running.
Is that confidence, though?
Oh, I don't know what it is, so I would say there's no way that he should be just playing in front of him. It looks like he wants to wrestle him all the time. Sometimes you haven't got to go near him.
Well, I want Looms' view on one point, because we were talking about it. There was a brilliant run that Traore made where he beat a couple, knocked it past Keane, got to the edge of the box, and then kind of shot while he was off balance. And I questioned Tomo Because obviously, look, I've not played the game anywhere near the level you boys have, as to whether he could have carried on and whether that's an element that he needs to add to his game, Looms, about trusting himself to take it closer.
Yeah, the ball was going. It was going further away from goal. It was going to a tighter angle. Now let's think about the goal that he scored at Fulham. That angle was ridiculous. So I understand why he took it on. He was off balance. He never really had that connection. Fantastic bit of skill, by the way, to get into the position. But he was always running away from goal, which makes it easier for the centre backs that are running straight, to kind of get into that goal area to try and affect it. So I felt that if he did take another touch, it's then basically looking for who's there to support him. If it's anything, it's probably one of those, maybe move it quick and have a shot that goes through the defender's legs and ask that question of Pickford. I felt that, again, he's off balance. So in that moment, you think, right, I'm not going to get my shot away, but he's broke that fast. Has anyone got up there with him? So as soon as he takes his touch and he doesn't get the shot away, I think Keane's back in, and I just feel then that he's got to look for support. So I felt that on another day, he strikes it well and he gets that much power in it that it could possibly beat Pickford. But again, he was off balance. But again, amazing bit of skill to get into that position in the first place.
I think he just tried to. He knew that Keane was trying to get back in and just maybe wanted to get a shot on target. I thought Troy was brilliant. My criticism comes maybe. I think I was a bit disappointed that Willian didn't influence the game when he come on as much. Yeah. I know we're probably going back over old ground again with Jimenez, and it shows how big he is. I think he does make them threatening runs in behind, and it's sometimes unselfishness, but sometimes it just brings other players in the game for us. And I think we did heavily rely on Traore in the second half, especially. And I think we started it obviously slower in the second half, and Morgan was doing that really well in the first half, popping it and then making the runs, and where we didn't really get quite a hold of the game initially. So I think that's my criticism. I don't know if Fabio is the player to keep running in behind and keep going behind players, but I think we was reliant on maybe giving the ball to Traore, even though I do think we did do well in the game. Did we deserve to lose? Possibly not. It was one of them on edge, and we didn't really concede that many chances apart from the ones on the edge. On the edge, I thought John done what he needed to do when called upon and was very steady. So I think there are a lot of positives. It's just that final third that he was really struggling for a lot of the season. And I think as I said, Troy was very good today. He just couldn't really create that clear-cut chance, which we've struggled at times.
Yeah, I just think as well, so we're getting on to the striker position. I said earlier on when Gibbs White was on that it would be nice to actually see Silva coming into that central position and maybe Gibbs White going out a little bit left, because that was one thing that we missed when the ball was going in there. I know we didn't play that many in the end, but when the ball was going in there, we didn't really have anybody in that central position, because William, when he come on, started pushing wide, and then Silva was out there wide. And I would just like somebody because that's what Raul does. He stays in that central position, because when the ball comes in, that's when he goes to attack it with the delivery. And I just think I would have liked to have seen that, where one of them just said, look, I'm staying here. I'm staying in this central position up against the last centre half. And that just gives me an opportunity. Just put the ball in there and I'll attack it.
Can we talk about Gibbs White, by the way, boys? Because he is the one player, I guess, that has consistently had an opportunity to try and impress over the last couple of games. I thought he was a little bit hard done by to be taken off when he was at the weekend. Maybe similar story for him tonight. What did you boys make of him, Looms?
No, I totally agree. I think it's one of them. It's a hard decision for when you're a manager. You're at the side and you're thinking, right, I've got these players on the bench. How can I just change something up? We're dominant with the ball, but I just need something different that might just create another bit of space, or maybe someone's getting into the box, a bit more presence. So, and it's one of those, and I guess because he is one of those younger players, I think the manager's always going to look towards the younger players in those difficult decisions. I think he's been excellent. I think he's really put that thought into Nuno's head to say, you know what, you can trust me, you can rely on me. I know my job, I know my position. The attributes that I've got. I can affect matches. And again, on another night he'd have scored. tonight. And again, but it's reaching those levels time and time again to make sure the manager says, you know what, he's my go-to guy, and he has the potential to be that man. So again, I'd like him to start the next match as well, and to do what he does. But I just feel that when the manager has to affect the match by bringing on subs, he is always going to look to those younger players. You understand that? I think that's just part and parcel of football.
Yeah, I agree. I think with both of you, Mikey. I think I don't think it was a slight on his performance that he came off. I think it was just something where Nuno wanted to change it and put an extra striker on to get the goal back. I thought he was very good first half, and I think we maybe starting to see where his role could be in this team. I don't know if the other guys agree with me, but I kind of see him as I don't know if he'll play a diamond, but like on the tip of that diamond, making them runs forward, because I think that's where he can really influence the game. He can drop in to maybe do a bit of a defensive job, but also can start making them runs behind. And I think as we've been talking about players for next season and the younger lads putting a marker down, I think he's definitely done that now, and I expect him to be around. I expect him to play in the next game. I expect him to be around the Wolves squad and not going out on loan next season or not moving anywhere now. And I think that's testament to him. I think he's had a lot of criticism at times throughout the season, and I think he's proved a point to the Wolves fans. Proved a point. So I don't know if he's proved a point to Nuno. Possibly he has. That maybe Nuno's have seen his skill and what he brings, but. He said that I'm clearly here, and I think it's a good thing for Wolves to be, good position for Wolves to be, because he's something different as well. It's nice to have different sort of players in them areas. I think he can play the tip of the diamond, if not as a number 8 as well. I've said it before. I think he's got the energy to get box to box and continue to make runs in behind. And I've been really impressed with him over the last couple of weeks, and I'm happy for him as well.
Do you think we're going to play with 2 up front, with him just behind, or do you think you can get away with playing with that one? What do you think, Looms?
Yeah, I think it's like horses for courses, isn't it? It depends who you're up against, depend what formation you're up against. Again, if you're going to be in complete control, dominant, I'd like to have 2, because like you say, you're always going to have one that's going to be staying central, and you need some people in the box to go and attack it.
Yeah.
So. Sorry.
You know, Looms, and this is maybe it's a conversation for next season, but we may as well have it now, because let's face it, we're nearly into this point. If you've got Jimenez and Neto fit next season, and we're talking about Gibbs White playing at the head of a diamond or in a 10 to up top, Jimenez is going to be one of them, right?
Yeah.
But so where does Traore and Neto fit in?
I think it's as Loom says, it's horses for courses. I do believe that. I think he can do that at the minute, but I do believe he can play as a number 8 and really get box to box. I think he's got the energy to do it, and I think he's starting to get the confidence in the team now to start demanding the ball, start demanding from others. I've seen him having a go at Bali for playing a ball too short to him in the first half, and I think he's growing in confidence. So I think he can play number 10. I think he can really influence the game, but it's going to be how Nuno sees fit and what he sees the formation going forward. But I think, as we've kind of seen with the rotation between Dendoncker, Neves and Moutinho, will that continue? I don't think it will. I think Nuno will look for maybe some fresh blood, and maybe instead of maybe bringing someone in, it might be Morgan Gibbs White to take over that mantelpiece. And I think he's a really good player. I think he still needs time. I think he still needs games, and I don't expect him to play 30-yard games or start 30-yard games next season. But I expect him to start more games than he did this campaign, and I expect him to make more of an influence on the team if he wants to, and if Wolves want him as well. It's a two-way thing. I think he's come in and proved a point in the end in some difficult moments where he has been. I don't know if I call him a victim. You know, he has come in for some stick from the Wolves fans. Let's be honest. And I think he's proved a point that he's definitely can be a part of the team. And I think next season he's going to need to prove a point that he can be more trusted because he shows he can be trusted. But can you be trusted to play a bigger part in the season next season? Because I think he can.
Yeah, on the back of that, I think it's down to the formation, isn't it? You know, you don't always need two holding midfielders. You know, I know that sometimes majority of the games that's what we play with, but you can have one that does that job, and then that allows you to get that extra man in, you say, in behind, like you say, a Jimenez when he comes back as well. And it's just, I don't know, you don't want to have too many bodies in that kind of formation, but like you say, the rotation works in that, you know, with that three, whoever it's going to be. And I think Morgan Gibbs-White can definitely kind of play. He could probably play all those roles and do a job at all of them.
Well, it goes back to a conversation that I know Keems hates having.
I love it really. I love it really.
Which is the 5 or the 4 at the back, because you know, I was saying to Tomo beforehand that I'm not convinced that Nuno wants to go to 4 at the back next season. I think they've had a look at it. They've tried it. They were forced into it at times. And the argument, I guess, would be that tonight they looked far more comfortable defensively, and they did pretty well going forwards. If they had a clinical forward up top, it might have been much like the Wolves of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, because I think I said to my kids before the game as well, if he's looking at a 4, and look, we all think that he was looking at a 4, but has he been forced into it? He's got big decisions to make in the summer. If he's looking at going into a 4, who does he bring in? Who's going to be involved in the team? Is he ready to leave Conor Cody at the side?
Well, he's been superb last 2 games.
Yeah, but if he's going to change the formation, can he play in a flat back 4? And if he does, then he's going to have to try and get somebody alongside him. I said to it last week about, like, we definitely need somebody in there if he's going to play with a 4 with genuine pace. You can't afford just to have 2 people in there in this Premier League with the pace and the ability that the players have got. I think that you've got to play with somebody with pace alongside if you're going to be the 4. And that's a big decision that he's got to make now about whether or not he is going to have the 3. And I think that we do look more comfortable in the 3, but also as well the players that he's got here, big decisions in the summer. What's he going to do? And that all comes down to what formation he's going to play.
Okay, very quickly, because we're going to finish off very shortly. I just from each of you, really, I guess, what do you expect going into Sunday against Manchester United?
Well, I was surprised that he's went back to the formation that we know well. So I'd imagine that we'll stick with that. I think there'll be some young players. I think Vitinha might come back into the team. You know, just have another look. You know, I know what it's about winning games, but it's about giving them the experience, and that's a fantastic match to be involved in. And like you said, there's some good individual performances today. So it's not, like you say, the future's bright. You know, but we need to go on and let's see if we can finish with a bang and get a result.
I think a result would be nice. We've struggled with results in the past couple of games, so a result will be nice. But I think it's ultimately to kind of maybe change it up again, see if there's any other people you want to have a look at as well, because it is a big summer. It is a big summer, and I think there are a lot of decisions to be made on the board level in the sense of who's going to bring in, how many players you bring in. I think there's going to be a big decision with Nuno. Who does he want to keep? Who does he want to change? And I think I think it's going to be an interesting summer, to say the least, and an important summer for the club, because we've said this season's a bit of a transitional period, and I don't think next season we'll possibly get away with saying that it's a transition period. I think we need some solid players to come in, a solid squad. Obviously, injuries haven't helped us, and to see what sort of push we can give it next year. But it'd be nice to have a look at a few players, as I know every game is important, but we are on maybe a bigger picture.
Yeah, and I think definitely there's going to be a big decision in the summer on, again, some conversations got to be had about what we're going to do. And again, if we've got to progress on, do we keep the formation or do we change it? But we definitely need some more experienced players, some quality players bringing into the squad.
Well, there's going to be some big decisions. I know Tranmere TV have put a very big offer in for Tomo in the last couple of days. So we will see how that goes. If he Matchday Live Extra.
Sorry, West Ham just missed the penalty against Albion.
The footballer.
Honestly. Somebody mistook me for a footballer. It happened. Deal with it. You've all got to deal with it. Thank you very much, Chris Uwelamo, Carlo Kimi, Andy Thompson. We will do it all for one final time this season, this Sunday, when fans return to Molineux. Can't wait. See you then.